morning, people. What is it today? The 13th. It is Thursday, the 13th of March. Welcome to TDA, the day after. Your favourite news platform and the home of popular culture as defined by the culture. Yeah. And as always, I am one of your hosts for today, my own royalty.
And they call me E-Man, the pro-black activist, TDA producer and news analyst, melanin jam-packed.
That is right. May you always be jam-packed.
Amen.
And Brent is here as well. He's setting up his mic.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry for yesterday, but we're here today.
All things have passed away.
All things have passed away. Let me just do a quick little roll call. Good morning, Energy. Good morning, TT. Good morning, Davina. Mercy Prestige. Jimmy Snow Globe. Nams. Timmy Priz. Mr. Ashlows. T. Abimi. Bex. Ghana Greatness. Johannes Williams. Charles Mack. Brickavelli K. And Toyin. Good morning. I hope
morning, y'all.
All are well. Good morning,
good.
crew.
How are you guys doing?
I am blessed and highly favored. How are you?
I'm good as well, blessed and highly favoured.
Good. We got an email.
You can't complain.
Yep.
That's right.
We got an email that came through.
Lovely.
And let me just read it out.
Okay.
Well, it was a topic of the day.
Suggestion.
Yeah, suggestion. I don't know if it is that you would want to do this as topic of the day. Let me know.
Let's vote.
Here you go.
Want to read it?
Yeah.
Right,
I mean,
cool.
no.
Read it privately.
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, fair.
Because if it's topic of the day, then
yeah, the spoiler alert kind of
Yeah.
vibe. Okay, do you want to play us the that loser,
Oh, yeah.
the slapping loser, the baton spanking loser?
What?
In the intro, you got it on there.
I put it.
Oh,
clip
you
in
did
the
it.
intro, Yeah.
Yeah. So remember the clip that you showed us of that girl, the race
Okay.
runner, the track star.
cool.
I can't believe it because I saw a video online about the situation. I never clicked on the video. I was going to click on the video, then I saw that it was a loser crying, and I said, "Excuse me, you're the perpetrator." So I never watched it. I just thought, oh, it's just way too much foolishness going on in the land at the moment.
She's been making a case of her innocence.
Well, she
And,
got Tourette's of the hand or something. Girl.
And she sat down with her relatives and she's saying, this is another angle.
She's going to go to what's good therapy for it. That's what people go to. First of all, they seek Christ. They say they pray to God. God forgives all. No one is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Then they say they're currently seeking therapy. And they're going to move forward and do better. And they're speaking to people of relevant communities if we're relevant. So.
Let's see what we got here.
Let's see what we got. She got to say for herself.
It's a good topic of the day, right?
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Shout out Malik Towers.
That's a
You've
nice
gotten
name.
the official green light. Thumbs up from the producer extraordinaire himself. All right. Let's see this. Oops.
So, you're physically hurt, but you're not thinking of my mental, right? They're going off of one angle. A couple times hitting her, my baton got stuck behind her back like this, and it rolled up her back. I lost my balance, and when I pumped my arms again, she got hit. I know my intentions, and I would never hit somebody on purpose. They're assuming my character, calling me ghetto, racist slurs, death threats, all of this just because of a 9-second video. Everybody has feelings. So, you're physically hurt, but you're not thinking of my mental, right? They're going off of one angle. A couple times hitting her, my baton got stuck behind her back like this, and it rolled up her back. I lost my balance, and when I pumped my arms again, she got hit. I know my intentions, and I would never hit somebody on purpose. They're assuming my character, calling me ghetto, racist slurs, death threats, all of this just because of a 9-second video. Everybody.
Sorry, I've got to hear that part one more time. Just the beginning. Please, Brent.
So, you're physically hurt, but you're not thinking of my mental, right? They're going off
That's
of
enough.
one
Thank
angle.
That's just wonderful.
I might have to basically adjust my position.
Mm.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're thinking of a mental now?
No.
Oh.
No. I just wanted to understand
Why she did that?
the physics behind all of this, right? So now that she's kind of explained it to me, right?
So her baton got stuck in the girl's back, rolled up, and smacked her a few times. Her baton's made of Velcro now.
No, I'm talking about the off balance part.
So she was off balance.
Yeah.
But
That's
not
the
off
bit,
balance
that's
with
the
the
bit.
leg she's running with. Off balance with the hands.
No, 100%. It would have been all connected. Right?
Yeah,
And obviously, I used to be a sprinter.
of course.
The fastest
Absolutely.
in the land.
No, second.
Obviously.
And I know these microscopic differences can change everything.
Of course it can.
Right? In a split second, split second.
Wonders.
So, I think I'm going to have to basically do a little bit more research because this might be plausible. I have to, deep dive into her character, before this. I want to check out her social media, see
course.
the type of
See
content.
whether she been slapping people with other
You know what I'm
items.
saying? They call it ghetto. I want to know if it is that she was sharing ghetto
truly-
content, right?
Research.
I want to see if she goes to church, what type of church. If it's
Might be a ghetto
Pentecostal.
church. Might be a ghetto church. If he's one of them going to slap you down to heal your mother, she's around that quite a bit.
I mean, she did
is a
start off.
bullshitter, mate.
She did start off quite interesting. What they say. Yeah, I know you got concussed, but what about my mental?
No.
What about my mental?
You need to say exactly how she said it. So you're thinking about your physical,
Exactly.
but what about my mental? Okay, you got smacked a few times. Is that the end of the day? Do you know what it is for you to? Because if you accidentally hit somebody, the girl is focused on the prize and on winning.
Yeah.
She would have kept going, but you did it a few times for her to stop
Yeah.
and take cover. Maybe before pigeons were attacking her or something. Didn't know it was someone's mental behind her.
I'm telling you, when it is that you're pelting it down the road, and something just happens, like it could end all at once.
Do you know what? That's
It
fair.
could really end all at once.
But it should never end on my head. It should never. It should absolutely. I don't care who will run next, who's run next. If I don't care if it's a granny, I will fight back. That's crazy.
man.
That's a crazy.
Man.
Anyway, good morning. I like your hoodie actually.
Oh, thank you.
It's really nice.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Who's that on this?
Big up.
Michael Jackson.
The greatest.
Come on, man.
Yep.
Come on, man.
Free Michael, man.
He's dead.
Free Michael.
You free him from what?
He kind of wants him to go to heaven. Right?
He's there already.
Okay.
He's there already.
Okay.
He kind of wants him. That's wild.
Nice to see you, Ramsey. To
Yes.
see you nice.
How you
Yes,
doing?
man. I'm good, man. It's nice to be back, man.
Nice.
I've been chock.
Listen.
I've been up
I
at
think
3
it's just
a.m. for the
laughable.
past few days.
That's a lot.
It's just been nuts. Everything's just been nuts.
Oh yeah, you're fasting.
Yeah, I'm fasting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what time do you break the fast in the middle of the night, isn't it?
Nah, it's all right now. Around now it's around 6. But when the clocks go forward towards the end of the month, it's gonna be around 7. God willing.
Oh, that's all right. So why'd you wake up in the middle of the night then?
But no, I was getting up for work.
But why did Muslims typically, because my granddad
Because
used
you
to wake
need
up
to
in the
pray.
middle
You
of the
need
night.
to pray, and they eat as well before they
Okay.
go back to sleep. But I've never been able to get up unless I'm gonna lose my job. I can't get up for work.
What time does the fast start?
Starts
Midnight?
around
About
4:20, 4:20 something.
Okay.
4:20 and some change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it ends about, okay, fair. Sundown, basically.
Yes.
Oh, so when the sun comes up to when it ends out,
Yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
not ends, God forbid.
Yeah,
but
Iman's been fasting.
And I believe him when he said it.
Mashallah.
I told him he's not allowed to come in here with any cereal bowls. I'm the fasting police, so. Okay.
No, you've since I met you. The first time you said it to me, I was like, yeah, whatever, man. You're still gonna be drinking water and all that. But now he's been.
People
on
drink
it.
water during fast. That's not a fast.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an intermittent fast for diet reasons.
Why are you
A religious
trying-
fast, no.
Why is he trying to police his fasting?
Because he said he was gonna fast like
Did you not send me
a brother.
Did you not send me some music the
Yeah.
other day? Was that during
Am
your
I
fast?
am I not infallible?
But why are you getting
Wait.
onto him for being infallible?
Because I think dropping food and water for a set amount of time is easier than not listening to music.
So he's ranking the fast.
Easier.
Yeah, like Brent
So
is
I'm
saying.
not. Listen, I'm
Free
not.
MJ, bro.
I'm not. I'm
And
not.
me.
I'm not infallible, man. Unfortunately, I wish I was.
Do people actually fast and drink water and say, I call that fast? Like the diet thing aside, like for religious purposes.
I think
I
other
think so,
religions do, yeah.
But is that like when you're doing a
Christianity.
7-day fast? Because obviously you would die otherwise.
Yeah, perhaps.
'Cause you know how Christians do is it dry fast they call it?
Yeah.
What's that?
So
That's
a dry
basically
fast where you're
what
not
we're
drink is what you're doing at the moment,
Yeah.
right? Where you don't eat or drink. And what's the other kind of fast?
I think that's just
Hydrated fast.
fast or water fast.
But,
Outside of Christian, outside of religion, or you just
but that's the
mean
thing. No, outside of religion, I understand those ones.
Yeah.
But for religious reasons, I would have thought
that they
the
all are
fasting
like
is
that.
they're all dry. I thought it was typically dry fasts.
I think it just depends on the person, to be fair. Because some people will struggle if
Kind
they
of
don't eat.
remix is that?
Because some people only fast till like 12 or 3.
I do a 3 fast. What are you talking about the people that fast with 3? I start at midnight. I start at midnight.
Yeah.
As soon as the clock strikes midnight, I tend to be in my sleep. And then I end my fast at 3 p.m.
Do you have water in between?
No.
All right. Yeah.
Because that's I
That's a
feel
proper one.
because it's not an intermittent fast trying to lose weight.
Yeah.
That's a religious. It's a Christian one.
Yeah.
So it has to be dry. It's making a sacrifice. Otherwise, it's fine not to eat. What? It's not fine not to eat, but it's easier. The whole point is that you're meant to,
Yeah.
100%.
It's also about exercising. Well,
Yeah.
Ramadan's supposed to be about exercising your patience
and self-control and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Everything is off
I've
the
been
table.
I've been trying
You've been trying.
really hard.
To do what?
I was talking to E-Man the other day, like I invite nonsense. Yeah? I invite nonsense. I swear to God, I told Brent a story the other day.
Yeah.
And I'm not the type where if I make a mistake, I say sorry straight away. But if you keep on trying me, then now we've got an issue.
Yeah.
So driving is probably one of the worst.
Oh, whilst you're fasting. Oh, because you can't swear.
Yeah. Like I'm going ballistic. People
You're
driving
going through
crazy. It's nuts. And I'm trying my best at work as well. Is another challenge for me.
I can imagine.
Because people just get on my nerves at
Yeah,
work.
people are annoying. I can imagine, I think fasting and not being able to swear. You remember in the cartoons, they should be like, while I order. That's the vibe.
I think you're a great example of not judging a book by its cover, because you know how society would see certain men behaving aggressively in public,
Right?
and just
Yeah.
assume they might be the
The
type.
one in the wrong.
No,
Okay.
you want to finish?
Already.
Yeah.
Go on.
This is just y'all. This is what y'all do.
Go on.
I'm actually paying a compliment. What's in your mouth?
Gold.
See? You never think about gold in the moment.
Gold.
Let me see the
Yeah.
gold. Oh, nice.
Thank you.
All right, cool.
Oh, no, that suits you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. So, and they just assume that you might be violent. at
Saying
home.
what's in your mouth is crazy, by the way. But sorry, Gang.
Can you can't pause during Ramadan?
I've been pausing non-stop. I don't... yeah, no.
But everybody knows you're not putting anything in your mouth anyway.
I know, but still. We're going.
Quite literally.
Are you allowed to brush your teeth?
No, let's not do that.
Of course.
Let's not
They
do
don't-
that.
you
Why
don't-
of course.
Do you drink
People-
the water when you brush your teeth?
No, you
Sometimes it
don't.
goes in.
No, pause.
But I don't know how much water you're putting in your mouth.
No.
Well, you just
Alright,
swallow
let me
it.
get something straight, yeah? This is for me. Anyone wants to attack me, they can. Any Muslim who says there's not allowed to brush their teeth has poor oral hygiene. Don't piss me
Yeah,
off.
there's no reason
Brush
for
your
bad
teeth.
hygiene during fasting.
There isn't. There definitely isn't.
I know what the Quran says, but the Bible says you shouldn't look like you're going through because you're fasting. Just making a scene all over the place. Dress up properly and sit up straight, mate.
Yep.
Brush your teeth, floss.
crazy.
Gum?
Huh?
No, you
Can
can't
you
chew.
chew
No,
gum?
no.
you can't.
Because that's your...
That's food.
Yeah. That's some sort of food,
Ah,
I
cool.
guess.
Where was I? Yes. So they just would assume that at home, domestically, you might be violent too, But
He said he was paying him a compliment.
yes, you're an example because I've seen and heard how you talk to your son and your wife, and it's so heartwarming. Yeah, there's a compliment.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I look like I abuse my family, but I don't. That's great.
So, yeah. That's a great way to go. That's just...
Yeah.
You lot heard it here first.
Heard it here first, for real. Okay, well, let's get into the headlines, please.
Right.
All right, people. So, Ukraine has accepted a 30-day ceasefire proposal with Russia suggested by the US, following talks in Saudi Arabia. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio stated he would present the proposal to Russia. Ukraine's President Zelensky said it is now up to the U.S. to convince Russia to accept the ceasefire. The U.S. and Ukraine agreed to restart intelligence sharing and security assistance suspended after a previous clash between Zelensky and Trump. Rubio expressed hope that Russia would accept the proposal and emphasize the need for peace talks. Zelensky thanked Trump for the constructive talks and urged Russia to choose peace or continue the war. Moscow has yet to respond, with the Kremlin planning to issue a statement after being briefed by the US. US President Donald Trump hopes to speak with Putin, urging Russia to agree to the proposal in the coming days. After drone attacks killed at least 3 people in Moscow, Russia accuses Ukraine of rejecting diplomacy. And the US and Ukraine also agreed to finalize a minerals deal, offering access to Ukraine's rare earth reserves in exchange for US security guarantees. Next headline. A trigger warning on this one. And St. George's Hospital in Tooting introduced a knife amnesty after treating over 500 victims of knife-related injuries last year, nearly double the 2022 figure. The hospital, in partnership with the charity Words for Weapons, set up an amnesty bin near the emergency department for people to anonymously dispose of weapons. In the first 6 months, 87 sharp objects were surrendered, including machetes, zombie knives, and knuckle dusters. Cleo Kennington, who's a consultant at the hospital, shared that she has had to remove knives from patients during surgery to stop fatal bleeding. Many of the patients are young and vulnerable, often saying that they don't want to die from their injuries. Whilst most patients survive with treatment at St. George's, some tragically die before reaching the hospital due to the severity of their wounds. And our next headline, the US Department of Education plans to cut about half of its workforce, impacting nearly 2,100 employees, effective 21st of March. The Trump administration aims to reduce the size of the federal government, with the cuts affecting all divisions of the department. The department, which has an annual budget of around $238 billion, employs over 4,000 people and oversees public school funding, student loans, and programs for low-income students. Despite common misconceptions, the department does not operate schools or set curriculum, which is handled by states and local districts. Only about 13% of funding for primary and secondary schools come from federal funds, with most coming from state and local sources. And that's it for our headlines.
All right, let's get into what you're saying, topic of the day.
All right, people. So today's topic of the day, yeah. I think it was Chijoke that put it in the Discord.
Big
I
up
saw
Chijoke.
it. Yeah, big up Chijoke. I saw it prior to that, so when I saw it, I thought, you know what, perfect time. You know what I mean? To discuss it. Brent, if you don't mind, there's a video that I want to play, and this is basically from I forgot the brother's name, the one who's now Captain America.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that guy. You know the guy? You'll see it.
He used to be
Is
the
it a white
Falcon.
guy?
No, black guy.
Used to be the Falcon, right? Like,
Yes, he used to be the Falcon.
Just quickly Google his name, please.
What's his name, please?
Oh, you'll see it in the thingy.
I think I saw him because he did the Jennifer Hudson show, Spirit Tunnel, the other day. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, that film is a new film that's out now. So
Oh,
that's
I
why-
knew it was him.
Yeah.
He looks like Janet Jackson when she's got something in her
Yes.
chest and she's eating food. That meme.
See, that's, yeah, there is a meme of him.
Imagine you do all this great work and people only recognize you from a meme. That's how I know this
I know
man.
exactly the face you're talking about. He does.
But yeah, he's a very good actor. And basically, he was on a podcast and he was discussing about success. And this is basically what he says is pretty much an ephany that he had recently.
Anthony Mackie.
That's
Thank
the
you very
guy?
much, chat.
That's the guy. Thank you. Anyway, so basically, he had this epiphany about success, and he says to himself, "Wait a minute, are we lying to the youth when it comes to success? When we tell them to work hard, get good grades, do all these things?" And the reality is, it's just not true. At least from his perspective, that in reality, him and like everybody else in that room, because they're all successful, were chosen, and there were many other people who were just like them, just as good as them, sometimes even better than them. You remember that Jada Kiss line and why? Why is there a guy that's better than Jordan that's still in the hood? Something like that, where there's people that's better than you, but for some reason it was you that was chosen. So, and that person would have worked just as hard or whatever it may be, just as talented. So are we lying to kids? Anyway, I'll let you guys hear it from him and then we can discuss it.
24 years, right? And I've seen people go from nothing to the biggest stars in the world. I've seen people go from one role to winning Academy Awards and doing all this shit. And what I realized yesterday thinking about it, we're lying to our kids, dog. And I think that's a big problem in our community. We tell our kids that and this is fresh on my heart, like I literally just came to this conclusion last night. We tell our kids if they do right and they make the good grades and they go to the programs and they will become successful. If you work hard enough, your work will be paid off. And that's not true. Success is given. It's not earned. Because you can be the most brilliant. If one person don't tap you, each one of y'all. There were people who could hit harder, who could catch better, who could run faster. But somebody said, you're the one. And the other 50 behind you fell off. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And because of that, I don't know what that emotion or that feeling is the scary thing. Because I went to all the programs. I've done Broadway. I've done off-Broadway. I've been in the business 24 years. I've been in 2 Academy Award films. I've done independent films. I've done major motion pictures. Now I'm Captain America. So now what?
Hold up. Limitless. Niggas to me cap pinning it.
Do you know what, actually? It's interesting because it ties, it sort of ties into what Stacey was saying the other day about there's so many talented music artists out there and stuff like that. But if you're not picked and then given the right resources to make you the next big thing, you can be as talented as you want to be. And it doesn't always lead to that success. I like that he's being realistic like that though, because I think there's always a lot of conversations about, just work very hard and just do, but there's so many other factors that play into it. And there's so many intelligent people who are A-star students who graduate with the first and whatever the case is. But then if they don't have the right opportunities or things don't line up for them the way or they don't know somebody who knows somebody or whatever the case is, it might never yield into that success that they were socialized into believing would automatically be theirs because they've worked hard. Yeah. It's smart for that.
Ramsey, what's your thoughts?
I don't know, I disagree with him. I think we first need to understand what success means to everyone, because it's subjective. If his success is being Captain America, that's one in a million thing. Not everyone's going to be able to be Captain America. But I don't think we should disparage kids to do their best and work hard. And because if his success is Captain America, someone else's success is having a stable job, being able to provide for their family, being a sole breadwinner, or being a good father, or being not, do you know what I mean? I think I disagree in that regard. I feel, and I'm obviously assuming because I don't know him, and I'm not watching the film either. But
okay,
I'm not watching it. They've got an Israeli superhero. I ain't watching that shit. It's a madness. So
nobody knows who he is.
No, she.
This is what I'm saying?
Yeah, but listen, she's in there. She has her own story in there.
In Captain America?
Anyway, but it doesn't matter. I'm not watching it. You say Israel, I'm not involved. Why are we talking? I feel like if we can't disparage kids to do their best, to prepare. What's that saying? Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. That's what we should be instilling in our kids. It's funny that he went with that angle, because I thought he was going to mention nepotism or even religion. Because I thought he was going to say God picks who he wants to be successful. Or nepotism is obviously when someone has links. And funny enough, most of the people in Hollywood are from nepotism. And even when we look at the culture here in the UK, a lot of the big people here have some ties to someone that's higher up, which is why they're big. To some certain extent, I'm talking really, really high. I'm not talking the Donnies that are made it up from talent. I'm saying like super, super successful people. So I don't think I agree with him.
But then don't you think it's because I took it as, because I 100% agree with you. I don't think we should tell kids, don't work out, because all of that stuff is important. And again, success means different things to different people. But then I thought like he was talking about the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Because entertainment industry, if you can tell kids, you can be the next Angela Bassett. But then if things like I wouldn't say music. I feel like music is different.
Okay.
Because, for example, someone like Doechii, for example, like she's got the success she's got right now, blah, blah, but when you look at how she's been doing this for years, blah, blah, blah. Someone like Thames. So with that, it was the right opportunity came and they were prepared for it. And so they were able to soar. Do you get what I mean? But I feel like when it comes to like acting and stuff, especially like as someone who enjoys watching like old shows and stuff, there's people who I've just known now from a break show, from like the breakout show. When I say the breakout show, some people like Kerry Washington for Scandal or Viola Davis for How to Get Away with Murder, something like that, right? Is there like they're the leading person in the show. But when I watch old films, old shows and whatever, I see that not people have been there. Even as a kid, I saw something. What was it? Was it Sister or something? And Taraji's in there. She's like one of their little friends in college or something, or was it Marisha or something? Something like that. And so I feel like with acting, I thought he was talking about in the acting. Because again, it is, I can't remember who it was I was talking about it recently, but it was something to do with this, where like some people you only ever see them as just that support act.
Like typecast.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like they're only ever going to be the friend of the main person, or they play a certain role in that. But you don't even realize. I even saw Papa Pope in A Different World. He's always looked the same. It was very freaky. But like, some people never get that break because it's about who they don't know. Obviously, again, God plays into these things and all that kind of stuff. It can happen that way, but it's not as easy as just telling people that working hard is the only thing that will get them, because you have people that work very, very hard and are crazy talented, but they never get the opportunity.
Why do you think that we tell our children, or why were we told work hard and you'll make it?
Because to be fair, that's still the formula of the world there. Because if you're a bum, you would just live a bum life. Like you still have to work hard. Whether you want to be the next greatest athlete or the biggest actress in the world, or you just want to be someone who has a stable job to take care of the family, you still have to work hard to get that. Because for the most part, the world still works on merits. There's some people who have made it who don't have talents, who don't have anything, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes that's nepotism or whatever the case might be. But you have to still bring something to the table. Yeah. And you have to, and if we're working hard as well, it's not just about working hard. There's other character that it builds within you. Is discipline. Do you get what I mean? It's consistency. You still need to work. You still need to work hard, regardless of whatever it is that you want to achieve.
Do you guys agree or disagree with the statement from Stacey? A music artist can create opportunities for themselves to blow and then get industry to buy in, right? Yeah. But with acting, it's very gatekept.
I agree with that.
So basically, you feel like in acting, it's definitely one of those places where people are chosen. Nepotism is rife.
I don't think they're only chosen.
Okay.
But with what Stacey said, for example, an artist can go on TikTok and just have a trending sound and someone just thinks it's cool, and now you got all these people doing it, and then because the label feel like, okay, you're popping, blah blah blah, you can become successful based off of that, you just doing something like that. Okay. But if I went online and just started doing monologues and stuff, I'm sure there's people that have been discovered that way, but it's not as easy as it would be for music, if that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Is it just because of the nature of the industry? So with music, it's just like, you don't really need to do much. You just have to put on Spotify or something.
You kind of have to have the package as well. Like, yeah.
You know what I mean? But with acting, because if you look at especially the black guys that we know, that's kind of blown, especially in the comedy.
Truthfully.
Yeah, but I'm talking UK guys. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
What's the brother's name?
Kaede.
Kaede, which Kaede?
The one that does
exactly
RS.
him. RS.
Oh, okay.
Even Michael Dapper.
Yeah.
Mo the comedian.
Yeah.
That's all themselves. That's them creating opportunities like an artist would.
Yeah, that's what I was about to bring up as well.
Yeah, but then when you ask
they're
them,
not up like.
I would say out of all the people, maybe Mo the comedian, because he's constantly touring and selling out tours, and he appeals to so many markets. But when you speak to him, it took a long time.
100%.
And then also when you think about it, like his videos, I got to know him like I think just before lockdown or during lockdown. Actually no, because I saw him before lockdown. But that's because I was familiar with his content of the couple of can stuff and all that kind of stuff. So even with that, it's not just one skit you blow.
100%.
Because then there's even within that industry there's still gatekeeping. I think it's easier to conceal a bad artist than it is to conceal a bad actress or bad actor. Young Miami still gets cooked for her role in what was it, Rap Shit or something? No, that's Lisa Ray.
BMF, that's it.
Yeah, do you get what I mean? And even though to be fair, she only got that because she's Young Miami. But I don't also think that acting is. I don't think they're necessarily handpicked. If you hear Kevin Hart's story as well, it took a lot of hard work for him to get there. Do you know what I mean? It took him not being like just going to comedy shows and following them and blah blah blah. And because he was always there, I can't remember who the comedian is, but the guy was like, "Oh, I'm actually going to New York. Do you want to come?" And he was like, "Yes, I will." And then he ended up doing that. And then because, again, he was around then the greats, but he just kept being that guy that they always, always, always see. And then one day it's like, okay, you're up. But again, he was ready for that you're up. So I don't think it's a thing where, and obviously we've then seen him do the comedy, and then be able to break into the film industry. But even with that as well, when he speaks about it, it's because of the relationship that he built over that time. But and do you get me? So I don't think it's a thing where they're handpicked. I don't think they handpicked Kevin Hart, even though what's his name? Yes, Cat. Yeah, I don't think they handpicked him. I feel like years and years and when he asks you, it's the years and years and years of these things again. So I don't think they're all handpicked.
But this is the reason why I think my position would be to disagree with him as well. Yeah. Because it's like, regardless, hard work is necessary. And obviously he's making a point, which is obviously legit. In terms of numbers, of course he's right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's obviously going to be more than one person at any given time going for what you're going for. And if you're picked, then you've been picked. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I feel like it's dangerous to say anything different than you know what I'm saying? Because I kind of see it like a matter of faith. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you believe, then like you're not gonna get everything you ask for.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you don't believe, what's gonna happen? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's necessary to always add in the equation. You know what I'm saying? But is there a better way that we can tweak it to give that information to our children?
Well, that you just reminded me of something my mum used to say. So when I was around 18, it was mad hard for me to get a job. Crazy hard. Pause. And it wasn't until I had long hair, because I used to have curly hair, and so I shaved it because I was balding. Yeah. I grew hair and I was going for job after job after job after job. And I, in my opinion, I was killing the interviews because I know how to code switch. Killing the interviews, I've done the research, I researched the company. Had an interview for like Nike Town. Yeah. Went there, thought I did the research about Nike, I wore the right stuff, and I ended up not getting it because they said I'd work better in like their Nike lab, but this was for the sports section. They said, "Oh, you're probably too cool for that side," which I really wanted that job, and I got what's the word when is it reference? Not reference. When someone
they give you a reference.
When someone refers you, that's it. Yeah, so someone referred me as well. So I thought I was a shoo-in, didn't get a peak. But something that my mum told me was that one door closes, another two opens. So it wasn't until I had that mindset, and also Aunt Kemi, shout out to Aunt Kemi. She said to me, if you're not getting these rejection emails in droves, you ain't working hard enough. Yeah. So you should be getting rejected after job after job after job, and then sooner or later you get to where you're going. So that was a mindset I had. So I think it's instilling, it's almost instilling rejection into your kids and having them being able to cope with that properly.
And I think that's how you prepare them there, because you're not always, you can be the smartest or whatever, but things aren't always going to go your way. Yeah. Like, you can be the smartest in your school, then you change schools and you're not the smartest one there then. And now you got to give your child a speech of, that doesn't mean you should stop working hard. You're still working hard. But like, they're not always, rarely will they just sail through life, and there will always be moments, there will always be teachable moments where they meet someone who works harder than them, or they meet someone who's smarter than them, or they meet someone who, you got the qualification, but they just like that person more. Or that person's parent is the reason why they got their job. Like, so there'll always be teachable moments for you to teach your kids, but I don't think that kids should not be taught to work hard to be successful. 100%.
Do you guys think, this might seem a bit silly, but think about it. Do you feel like nepotism is really a real thing?
Yes. I wish I was a nepo baby every day.
Reason I'm asking, right, and I'm talking about the majority of nepotism. So, for example, let's just say 90%. So I'm not talking about the 10% of people who are useless at their jobs. But the 90% of people who benefit from nepotism, would you say that they're not skilled in what they're doing?
No, not necessarily. There are people that are skilled, and there's people that should have never been a nepo baby. It's waste of resources, waste of everything. But I don't think nepo babies are automatically unskilled or not qualified for the job.
Precisely. So is
sorry, how would they be though? Because remember, if it's a nepo baby, they're already getting all the information, all the skills from the person that's in that industry. Yeah. So it's hard for them not to be shit. Do you know what I mean? So for them not to be at a certain position or have the cheat code and still be bad is crazy. Yes. So they will always have the upper hand.
So basically they are fit for the role.
They're made.
Not always
fit. Though. Made. Fit means fit implies that they were instinctively or naturally built for that role. They weren't. They were made by the parent. To fit
into that role.
Yeah. But they fit.
Yeah,
they fit the role.
Yeah, but they're not always. There's hella nepo babies that are not they're not fit for it. But again, because that's the way the family works, where like every first son or every first child takes over the company.
Yeah.
You take over the company, whether you got interested or you don't. Like, nah, I think there's nepo babies that are not.
So what would be your rough percentage of all the people in the world that benefit from nepotism? What percentage would you say are good, they're fit for this role, versus the ones who they're just a sheg? They shouldn't be
Elaborate
there.
on the question more. So would you mean
don't
that?
know.
So all the babies, all the nepo babies put together.
All the
So there's
babies.
10 of them
So-
in this room.
Okay, so all the nepo babies in the world.
Yeah.
How many of them are good versus bad?
Basically. So how many of them like are just as good as the ones that would have been employed as well? You know what I'm saying? But they just
Oh,
benefited
okay.
from being in there, the networking and
See,
whatnot. And Brent, I want you to answer this as well, yeah?
I think it's low.
Tell me what you think.
I don't know. I think it's low. Because they got the cheat code and stuff. I don't think like there's someone in the world that was naturally talented at that role, but they didn't get the chance because they weren't a nepo baby. So it's I feel like it's less likely for all those nepo babies to have a natural skill at that thing. That makes it just based on chance versus.
I get you.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, 100%. But does it matter that they're natural or not? If you just do the role.
Yeah, because nepo babies they've got an upper hand just because they're related to someone.
No, but I'm talking about how good they are at the role. Forget how they got in.
Okay.
How good are they at the role? So, for example, there's plenty of singers out there who are not as good as Aretha Franklin. There's only going to be one Aretha, Mariah, Whitney, and whatnot.
Yeah.
But all the rest of them are still able, good singers. Rihanna's a great singer. What do you think about good? She is, man.
She's not.
All right, that aside, right? There's somebody else could have been there. Basically,
for
you know what I'm saying?
for sure.
But Rihanna is
We know
still.
they took Tia Marie out. Allegedly.
But Rihanna's still excellent at what she does. Otherwise, she wouldn't have sold millions and millions and millions. You get the point I'm making,
you,
right?
I do.
Right. So Rihanna essentially wouldn't be replaced. She would be an excellent nepo baby if she was a nepo baby, right? So I'm basically saying, what percentage would you give to those who are really good at their job still, but they just happen to benefit from knowing you?
I don't know. I can't give a percentage because the best nepo baby, in my opinion, that exists and would probably ever exist is Tracy Ellis Ross. She's
Yeah.
Diana Ross's
Yeah.
child,
There you go.
but the woman is just iconic in every single way, and she's not even an annoying nepo baby. Like if you don't say her last name, you forget who her mum is. Even if you say her last name, you can easily forget who she came from.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's tricky. I don't know. I think it's tricky. I haven't met any real life nepo babies in the industry that I work in.
Okay.
I have actually. I have. Yeah, she's alright.
Would they remain nameless?
Of course they will. What the hell? I'll remain nameless if I could. I can't give it. Yeah, it's hard for me to throw stats out there because I think it always depends. I don't think that just because your parent is this thing and you've been watching them do that gives you the skills.
Yeah.
You still have to go to acting school. You still have to go to singing school. You still have to do all these things. And there are other people in the world as well who didn't have to do those things but have that talent naturally. And there's people who didn't really have that talent, but then they were able to get that talent nurtured in the school. So I think it's tricky. I think there's too many factors.
I think it helps if you actually look at nepo babies.
Oh yeah, who are the nepo
one
babies?
of the biggest nepo babies is Taylor Swift.
Who's the
Okay.
daddy?
Her dad.
Miley Cyrus is a good nepo baby.
There you go. That's true.
Miley Cyrus is a good.
She's a great nepo
she's good
baby.
at what
As
she
in,
does.
she's good.
Yeah.
Yes,
what she
she's
does.
a great-
Acting, Hannah
At
Montana. That's it. That's where it stops.
at acting, singing, whatever she does, like she's a great nepo baby, and her godmother Dolly Parton.
Twerking.
Oh, yeah.
People twerk, don't they?
No, she's good at twerking.
Of course she's not. It's just like a meme. But yeah, her godmother is Dolly Parton. Brandy is a good nepo baby. Her godmother was Whitney.
No, I don't count.
Is her godmother Whitney? I want to know what that note was. That's one of the things I'm going to ask her when I get there.
What note?
Whitney Houston, the night she died.
Okay.
Apparently, so it was when Monica and Brandy were shooting the video for It All Belongs to Me. Because when they came back after the Boys Man, like years, it was a whole thing around that time. And they basically did a collaboration song or whatever. And apparently they were at the video shoot. Because apparently Ray J was dating Whitney Houston at that time too when she died.
yes.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
So apparently, allegedly, what happened was Whitney came downstairs and passed them a note. Then she went back upstairs and then she's dead.
Wow.
But then people were like, out of respect, We're not going to talk about what's in the note. Okay.
Mm.
But anyway, so yeah, I would like to know what was in that note, personally.
All right, Brent, what's your thoughts on nepotism and hard work and basically everything we spoke about? Do you feel like the two coexist?
Sorry, just for Brent answers. The Taylor Swift thing you said, someone brought this up the other day. Who? Oh, I think it was a podcast I was listening to. But they basically said how, the girl was basically saying how she saw Taylor Swift as an opening act.
Oh.
As like a what's it called? It's an opening act, right?
Yeah.
There's another word for them that's bugging me.
I think it's open.
Yeah, something like that. But she basically saw Taylor Swift as an opening act. So she was like, when people cast Taylor Swift and say, oh, she got there with nothing, blah, 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 blah. She actually remembers seeing her as an opening act. People were not really singing because people didn't know who she was.
Should have to
So
do
she's
an
put in
opening act.
thingy.
I don't think that then.
Yeah, but people talk a bit, but people
Nullifies
did
her.
discredit her success though, as if like it was just handed to her,
I didn't even know
and
that,
she's just this, that. But she also started from someone, and that's why I always say with people when it comes to successful people, people you only know someone when they came in your vision.
100%.
That doesn't mean that's when they started existing.
This is why I'm
So this is why. Do you know what? So even with her as a nepo baby, she still had to put in the work to then
100%.
become relevant because hella nepo babies are not doing it. They're not giving.
Taylor Swift is shit.
Is she?
She's awful.
I've never
she's
heard
not,
a Taylor
Her
Swift
music's
song, yeah.
awful.
Love
But
Taylor Swift.
the woman
She's
is
really bad.
the biggest artist in the world, though. How is she bad? If she is that good.
But the numbers don't always equate to quality.
Yeah, but if you're that, you know what I'm saying? Surely she must be good. I've never heard her songs,
She
innit?
is.
But
She
surely.
is.
Really bad. As a what,
People
you think
doesn't like
she's
her
good?
because she's with that guy. I think she is. I like Taylor Swift.
Really? Okay. But
Yeah.
obviously, music's subjective. But
I was
when
upset when
understand
Kanye
lyrics-
snatched that award from her.
Yeah, because that was a horrible thing to do. In
It was a
general.
horrible thing, but
Yeah,
I thought. But at the time I was listening to Taylor Swift. I've listened to her in a while, to be fair. But at the time I was listening to her, and I felt like no, she deserved that. That was a great project she dropped. Like, why would you do that? So yeah,
That was good times.
because of Swifties.
Imagine.
That was good times. That was the minor of Kanye. Minor acts of Kanye.
Brent, what's your thoughts?
Good morning, welcome.
Dude,
You have to unmute your microphone.
what's your thoughts? It was asked of you.
I need
Morning,
specificity.
morning.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How's everyone? How's it going?
Good,
Blessed,
thank you.
you right?
blessed and highly
Good,
favored.
good,
Blessed and
good.
highly favored. What are your thoughts?
With the Nepo baby, to say I'm not. I think the percentage, who knows? I think I think it only comes into conflict when if other people feel a type of way about it, innit? So in the company, someone might say, "Oh, that's so and so's child. Oh, why do they get certain perks?" I think if that sort of arises, then yeah, I think that's the issue per se, as opposed to, my missus' dad, he done really well for himself. So he was able to bring on his daughter to work experience and so have our friends, and they've all benefited from that as well, right? And they've gone to do like really well within their sort of careers. So I'm not really too sure about that. But I wanted to speak more about, like, obviously I have two kids, I have two boys. So it's, thank you very much. So yeah, and I think working hard as well. What Anthony Mackie was saying, I sort of agree but disagree, because I think with my son, for example, he's not, he's in reception, and for me, working hard, I don't actually kind of use those type of language. Kind of tell him, okay, this is what happens when you work, and these are the results. So, for example, like he's learning phonics at the moment, and I think I'm starting to see how, like I told him, like I got comics, so I read a lot of comics, and he said, I would like to read those comics. And I was like, buddy, like if you do your phonics, and then that will help you to read and understand the words, and you'll be able to read this great comic. And I think the idea of that, this equates to something, right? So if I do well in my phonics, that means I'm able to read, I'm able to write, and you can write whatever you want. And he will sometimes say, like, he'll try and write little stories. So it's not, and I'm very cautious about the working hard, because what does working hard really mean? Because some people don't really work hard, they just work smarter. So are they not working hard? So, for example, like me and my missus are very big contrast. So my missus would say she works really hard. Like, she's doing her PhD and she's very efficient. Like, she's very like, no, where for me, I'm very much like, I'm a work smarter guy. I like things to be a bit easier for me, but I still get results. So, but would someone say that I'm not working hard? And because obviously I've said it here before that I'm studying to be a therapist. So for me, it's like, yeah, I like to think that I work easier because I get my tutors. So I am very active with my tutor. So meaning that I speak to my tutor a lot of the time. Of course, with this course, you have to do supervision. So I rely a lot on my supervision, and it makes my work much easier. Do you get what I'm saying? So where my missus, where I think that she will put like the hard yards, she will do all-nighters. I stopped doing all-nighters a long time ago. I think I don't really like that. I do not really like that idea. But I would say, look, my missus got a first in her degree when she was, so I was like, bro, so in some sort of way, it depends how you sort of work and stuff like that. But when you install into your kids, especially today's kids, I think you have to be very cautious because I do like to, I'm going to say, and I'm going to generalize, I think we're making our kids a bit lazy. And I think, yes, and that could be, then there's a lot of factors that can come into play. But I want to talk from a parent's point of view. I've said that you have to be active in your child's life. So if whether or not you want to instill the mentality of working harder or working smarter, whatever it may be, I think you have to show it yourself. So I think my kids, obviously, the benefit of actually having kids young and studying at the same time is that my kids get to understand, oh, daddy worked or mummy worked really hard so they can achieve this. So later on, when my boys are older, they will understand, oh, right, like daddy did, this and that when he was younger, and they get to see it. So, but then some people might say, well, I like to have my career first, then have kids. Of course, but then that means you have to make sure you install great values when it comes to working and understanding what does working really mean to you. Does working mean that I work 5 days a week, I work 7 days a week, or is it I work 3 days a week? Do you know what I mean? I do something else. So I think you have to really install a sort of positive sort of language when it comes to working hard. I think we just have the nation, the rat race. It's a constant narrative that's been perpetuated throughout many years and stuff like that. And I think we are the generation that can sort of debunk that. I think COVID showed a new lens of working as well. So I think that those are the sort of conversations that you should be having with your kids and among yourself as well. You should be really looking at, do you have a positive working relationship? I said, as much as my missus dad was done really well for himself, I think he has a negative way of view of working. You know what I'm saying? So I think definitely you have to have that honest conversation with your kids, I think.
With your boys, yeah.
Yeah.
How do you? Because I'm going through the same thing with my son at the moment.
Okay.
More so, like I'm honest with him. So when I say daddy doesn't really feel like going to work today, but I have to because we work hard and then, we make money and stuff. And also in regards to exercise. So I'll say to him, daddy doesn't want to go running today, but I have to because I want to stay healthy. And I'm kind of getting him on his own exercise journey because I want to get him started young. How are you doing that with your kids, if you don't mind me asking?
Interesting that you say you have to. I'm sorry, I don't want to try to be your therapist here, but I find it interesting that you say you have to, because I think with me and my boys is that so I sacrificed working when my son started school.
Okay.
And my missus done a load of actually working, because obviously she gets paid by a PhD. Because the reason why I did that is because I kind of told my son, like, you don't have to work, because sometimes, like, in life there are other things that are greater. So for example, for me, I prioritized that my son started school and I wanted him to settle in well. And I think at the time, the dad presence was needed. So I
Okay.
sacrificed that. And listen, that comes from a privileged background. Like I come from a privilege where I live with my missus' parents, and not that I can afford it. I'll be honest with you, I couldn't really afford it, but I decided to sacrifice that just to be there for my son when he started school. So I remember seeing Esther, where Esther saw me working before as well. I won't bet out where she works, but I was like, I was doing a little coffee shop and stuff like that. And then I was explaining, like this stuff while doing this course, and because I pay for my own course, you have to pay for this course. This course is around like $6,000, and how I kind of spoke about it to my son is like, I work sometimes, but sometimes I'm there for you. All right. And sometimes where you might have to make sacrifices, because sometimes in life you have to do that as well. You will have to make sacrifices. And I want to install that as well. And it's not saying that it's a bad thing that you don't have to work. I don't have to work, because who says that you have to work? Of course, the society might tell you because of money, of income and stuff like that. And you have to, I'm being very mindful that I'm coming from a privileged background where some people might not have the opportunity to actually not work, because they have, like you said, Ramsey, you're right. Some people have to go to work because it puts food on the plate, right? So it's also looking at your circumstances, and then I would say looking at your son and be like, okay, in your situation, you have to, and I think that's honest. There's no denying that. Like if a situation that you have to do that, then but then later on, as he gets older, especially with the exercise, what's the positive outcome of here? Okay, I can be healthy.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't mean that
Exactly.
you have to do this all the time. I like to think in terms of like health and exercising, but in terms of job as well, put yourself in a position where you work hard to afford yourself to give yourself that time,
Yeah.
that luxury of time.
Yeah.
And in this time, we have to get these kids to understand you have to hustle it out. Like sometimes you do have to put the hard yards in. It's like when, for example, when my child does his phonics and I'm reading to him, I'm like, Casper, you have to read. Like you don't try and play around and stuff like that. I'm giving you an opportunity. I'm not saying that you should read all the time, but I'm saying to you at this moment in time where we decided to give an hour or so to your reading, we have to read. We have
Yeah.
to learn. You have to tell me,
Yeah.
okay, what you understand or what do you understand? Do you know what I mean? But then also making sure that I don't pressure him all the time. Okay, Casper, you have to read all the day, all the time, because that just sends a negative sort of
Yeah, for real.
association. Daddy told me that I have to read all the time,
Yeah.
as opposed to, oh, I actually enjoy reading.
I might be the only one in the room with this opinion, but when I see my
Yeah.
baby, because he does classes, and they make him run
Yeah.
around the block. When I see my baby running 6 blocks, I'm like, oh, that's my baby. Like he's there like gasping. I'm like, my baby. But he's pushing through it. Like,
exactly.
and every time he does it, I'm so proud of him. And I know he does that because he's seen me and his mum and my wife push ourselves when we're exercising. But how do you not balance that as a parent? Like you don't want your child to be in pain, but you know it's gonna work for them. Like when I see him in that mode, I'm like he's running with a stitch and he's just pushing through it. And I just look at him like, ah, I just want to hug him. Do you know what I mean? Like, how do you not fight that as parents?
I'll be honest with you, that is a big thing. Like, it's very difficult because I think me and my missus are contrast where I didn't have that sort of parents. I came from a single parent household. My missus came from a 2-parent house, really exercised, right? So, and really done the whole hard yards and stuff like that. But it came crashing down for my missus. I won't go into too much of deep, but like it did crash out a bit when she hit 14 and everything just hit out because I think what was missing was the dialogue. And I know it's a bit sort of like cliche and it's a bit like oh whipsy daisy, like oh it's talking about it once again, talking about it. But yeah, it is. I'm sorry, but in the line of work I do, I think I emphasize so much about having these type of conversations. So for example, how do I balance it with my kids is first and foremost, I'm always speaking to my missus. Okay, are we making sure that we're not pushing our kids, or should we push our kids and stuff like that? So for example, like when it came to Casper doing Muay Thai, he was done it for a bit, and after he turned around and said, I don't want to do it. And we said, all right, that's fine. Like you don't have to do it. And then later on, he decided that, a couple months later, I think we was watching something. He's like, you know what, Daddy? I think as he got older, and I see like he swimming, for example, the kids do swimming a lot, and that's because my missus values swimming. It's a life skill, so that's what she does. And I try to fight against it because with my son, like with my youngest, I said I would rather him do football than swimming. But Missus been like, she's a very firm, like she hit a boundary and said no, like it's a life skill, and I really want them to swim. So, and she says that every Saturday she takes them to swimming, and I think that the important thing was to have that conversation. Obviously, we spoke in depth about it, but then and making sure that we don't push our kids doing that. But at the same time, certain life skills and like that, I could understand why she would want them to do because it's a very important skill to have. Swimming, for example. So football stuff like that could happen much later. You know what I mean? I would
Yeah.
say, if you want to start doing rugby, that you can do that probably when you're 16, or you go to a school that facilitates that. You don't have to do it when you're like 4 or 5 years old because these things can help you much later on. But when it comes to swimming or things that are seen as life skills, I think me and my missus kind of put a thing. Okay, I'm on board with you that from young we want to instill those type of values and principles.
Would you ever, or have you ever, introduced the idea to your kids that just because you work hard doesn't mean you're going to make it?
Yeah, because do you know what's Casper, my first, I keep saying it's unfair. He keeps saying all the time, it's unfair for many things. Like, my youngest will take his toy and he say, it's unfair. And then I
Kids
notice
find a word.
oh my days, words, like everything is just unfair. Like I decided to eat my croissant and I didn't want to give it to him, and he said it's unfair. And I want I was like, Casper, you need to stop saying it's unfair because I started installing the idea that some people don't have what you have. You've got a roof over your head. So you've got a 2-parent household that, you're from a nuclear home. Like some people didn't have that. Like, and it's kind of, I think because we take my sons, we're very active in terms of taking my sons to, experiences. And Casper will see when we go to London, you see the homeless people who ask questions like, oh, why is that guy sleeping outside? And these are the things that we sort of kind of speak about as well. So yeah, I do sometimes kind of not necessarily the idea of like if you work hard, you might not get it. But I think he's still young, and you still need to have the appropriate language. My son is still 4, but I kind of did still instill that idea, especially with him saying unfair all the time, to understand that you are in a privileged situation and you should be grateful and to have gratitude, right? And to think of others and be considerate of others, that people don't have what you have. So I think and there, maybe as it gets a bit older, then maybe I might start, because I think working hard and not succeeding is a very harsh pill to swallow. Imagine you worked really hard for something and you don't sort of succeed, or the success is not what you think is. And I imagine, as a therapist, if a client came to me and said, I worked really hard for this and I didn't get the opportunity, blah 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 blah, I think that might be very difficult. And I think I don't want to really install that just yet, as with my son just now, especially because I think it goes into so many deep territories there as well. So I think for now, I just want to have a positive affirmation where you work hard, you get these type of things. And for now, for example, with these phonics, because I know that's a big thing that Casper was really upset about. He didn't want to do phonics. Like, he hated phonics. I don't want to do phonics. I don't want to learn it. And that was really thing. And I said to him, like, listen, buddy, you work hard on this. This will get you to put you in this position. And then from that on, I'll do the next step, if that makes sense. So step by step, considering how Casper's only 4, and as he gets older, then you start bringing deep in those type of sort of conversations. The conversation is installed from young, so it's not a surprise when he's 16 and be like, why is dad talking to me about working hard, blah 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 blah, when probably by the age of 7, 8, I would told him, some people work hard and still not get it. I was the actor, by the way. Before I did the whole therapy thing, I went to drama school, and at end of the term, the directors and the agencies will pick people to see, okay, whether or not they will get signed to the actual drama school agency where you could get jobs. I didn't get picked. I like to think I worked really hard. I had ambition to be the next John Boyega. I went to the school that actually John Boyega went to. Funny enough, Letitia Wright, Malachi Kirby, they went to that school. I went to Identity. I learned the scripts. I worked really hard, but I didn't get picked. And it is what it is, and hard pill to swallow. But at the same time, I still think that it benefited me, because I think therapy was always the job that I wanted to go to. But it's a hard pill to swallow. Like, the idea of rejection. I got rejected. I didn't get picked. I done my end of showcase. They didn't look at me, and I thought I was the best actor there, right? But, hey ho.
I hear you, man. Once again, appreciate your call. Welcome, man.
Morning, Ed.
I appreciate it all the time, man.
Have a lovely day, babes.
Thank you.
Nice
Have a
one,
good
bro.
day.
Take care. Bye bye.
It's pretty good parenting. I'm always just, every time he speaks, I'm like,
I thought Ed wanted to talk
Nailing it.
welcome.
Oh, was it?
I thought so.
When did Ed say that?
Yeah.
Yo,
Morning,
Ed, you wanted to talk
Good
about
morning.
them?
Can you hear me, yeah?
Yeah, we can hear you. Good morning.
is
You
he
right?
still there?
Cool.
Yeah,
I'm still here.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah, what's good? Welcome, man. You good?
What's good, Ed?
Yeah, I was just coming through just to, I guess, piggyback off the comments that you were making, just in terms of how you manage sort of your kid understanding that there's a chance they're gonna fail or be rejected, or not, no matter how hard they work, they may not get to where they want to get to. I do think that's one thing I don't like about sort of the participation sort of generation that we're sort of living in terms of how they sort of do things in schools, where everything is like, oh yeah, you will get a prize if you just for taking part. It's like, I do think in some way you do need to, maybe not like in a very harsh way, but subtly sort of make it clear that, hey, there's a different way of going about things. So at the end of the day, yes, you can do your best, and that's great, and you can be acknowledged for doing your best, but it should be clear that this person is, or these people are, the successful people in that situation. And it's a thing of maybe not make them feel like they've been rejected, but just make it understand that there is a distinction. You know what I mean? Like making them clear that, hey, okay, I did my best, but no, I did not. I was not successful. And then sort of encouraging, but always encouraging that, no matter what happens in terms of that, doesn't mean you stop working hard.
Yeah.
Which I think some people get caught up in the sort of what Danny Mac was saying, where it's like, it's like never stop working hard. Always strive for the best, because you never get the opportunity to be successful without that in the first place. That's something I'm always gonna push on. So I do push, and I always will push to my daughter. Is a thing of you're not gonna always get what you want. You're not always gonna get the target you want. Be it in her case right now, mainly it's usually toys or whatever. But But in real life, you're never gonna get to what you're not always going to get what you want, but it's a thing of you still have to put in the effort to even have the opportunity. And it's about being in the space to have the opportunity to succeed. So it's not about always trying to make sure that they're feel like they always will succeed. It's not always, to me, it's not always about making sure they always feel like they succeed. It's about making sure they are aware that I'm in, by doing what I'm doing, there's a chance I will succeed. It's just making it clear that that's the thing, that there's a chance you won't, but there's a chance you will. And I think that's to me the important part, is that I think that's what I think Andy Mackey was trying to stress, was the whole thing about, yes, you be in the place for the opportunity, but there's not guarantees that the opportunity means success.
Would you couple that with, okay, there's a chance you'll succeed if you try, but if you don't try, you definitely won't succeed?
Yeah, I think that's another thing. 100%. Yeah, there was the phrase, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So yeah, it's something. So 100%. Yeah, that's something I think you can't let people think that that it's the thing of you even if people are better than you. Again, we've all been in classes where there's kids who are clearly got miles above us. Don't mean we gotta sit back and be like, oh, we're cool. We gonna fall back and do nothing. And just be like, just sort of, fall to the wayside, as it were. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you've got to push through, even if you can see, yes, people might be ahead of you, but at the end of the day, if you don't work, you won't get anywhere near in the first place. So definitely, you got to go for it regardless. You always got to put in the work. Like, putting in the work that goes without saying. That's a fundamental in life. Teaching your kids to put in the work is a fundamental. But it's just to me.
It can be damaging though. At the same time, though, you have to be a bit cautious. If someone says that, oh, I want to be a footballer, I'm going to work really hard to become this footballer, and don't sort of make it, you kind of sort of have to make sure that, okay, you have to sometimes look at yourself. And I encourage people to look within and be like, okay, is this footballing thing really what I'm trying to do? If do I have more use in actually working hard as being a coach than as opposed to being a footballer? So, and it's not saying that, okay, maybe you might not be a footballer in the Premier League, but you might be a footballer in League Two, and that might still be okay, and that still might be successful for you as well. But also, you have to ask the question, okay, why am I really working hard for? Is this something that I have to really work hard for, in the sense where that if I work hard and I don't actually get what I want, then I need to start really thinking different avenues. And this is where you sometimes think, just because I didn't become an actor, I didn't sit down and be like, oh my gosh. Obviously, it was upsetting, but after that, I didn't sit down like, I'm not going to do anything because that's it, that's done. I decided to work hard in different avenues and in different spaces that it's all perpetuated me to be in this position now. So I decided over the years, I'd worked around different places and stuff like that, and until I decided I wanted to be a therapist. And there I thought, okay, working hard attributed for me to get this sort of success. But every step that I make as becoming a therapist, that is encouraging for me. And I'm taking that work hard that I still did when I was trying to be an actor, and I placed that somewhere else. And sometimes you have to take the hard pill and swallow sometimes. Maybe this avenue is not the place for you. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's not a bad thing, because sometimes it comes in many different ways. It comes around so many. I get to play do acting roles because of my son. You know what I mean? And that's small. It's fine, but my kids get to see that, and that's absolutely fine with me. I get to do some sort of acting with the schools, and I really enjoy that. When I worked in the school, I did a little drama exercise with kids, what I learned from drama school. So that was fun. So it comes in very different ways, and sometimes you have to ask yourself, okay, but this working hard in this particular thing is necessary, because maybe you might not achieve it, or the odds are just not in your favor. Who knows? And maybe you have to transition to something else, and then never know, it might come back later on.
Yeah, no, I trust, bro. I've definitely made many a pivot through my life. So yeah, I know you can't just always be reliant on plan A. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah, there's no shame in if you don't succeed. Shift, pivot, go to something else, and again put that same level of effort you're putting into something else. Yeah, so no, I don't disagree with you on that one. Yeah, 100%. You gotta be able to. That's something else you gotta be able to teach. A child, a young adult, whatever, that they do need to understand that, again, life is going to be full of moments, so you got to pivot and you got to change your plans. Like that's and again, but not to get tied down to that being a success or failure because you've had to change your plans. You know what I mean? I can sit there and know, yeah, for myself, I wish I had known this as a young buck, you know what I mean? Because I know many a time when I've dropped on my face, metaphorically. It's a very like, you know, something of it's like I didn't realize, oh, okay, that I can still find a way out of this situation. I can still push through. I can still get somewhere by doing something else. You know, so it's about maybe a year where you sort of, I know in my life was just like, yo, I'm just sort of floating around, not really knowing what to do because I didn't have that instilled in me. You know, so it's instilled that, yo, this plan A is plan A, and if you don't do plan A, you're a failure, and that was it. So that's something, yeah, you got to definitely instill your kids too. That, yeah, plan A doesn't mean, you know, plan A is great, but I understand you could get all the way down to plan Z within life. You know what I mean? Like, so that's just how it works. Yeah.
Good morning, Tim.
Good morning.
How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. How's everyone in the studio?
Good, thank you.
Thank you, man.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was just getting ready to leave for work, but I was hearing that this topic in the sense of where we're trying to build the next generations. You know, we're trying to inspire children and the people after that. We could easily say that we are like obviously put up with our environment in the sense where we could say we're traumatized. Traumatized in the sense where, okay, we know what life is like in 2025, and we know that if you fail, you know, it's terrible. You get up on the street, you can end up homeless and all of this. And we see that kids nowadays don't even understand the value of anything. At ages where we saw, oh, we had to sharpen up or we had to be a bit more quicker. Obviously, lying to kids about hard work, because kids nowadays can look online and they see on Twitter that, you know, it. How do I put this? Kids nowadays look online and they see that it's easy. Oh, this guy did this, he made 150 million streams. Oh shit, he's got all this money, he's got this. But they fail to realize that probably that person was 1 in a million. There's probably 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 other people trying to do the same thing. We go online, we see streamers. You go on the street, you see engineers, you see people trying. There's a lot of failures every day. And it's not a case of fine, oh son, you're gonna fail, don't even bother. But you have to understand that if you want to make it, you might, you know, there's moments where you have to be sharp, there's moments where you have to be slow, there's moments where you actually have to want it for yourself. Obviously me growing up and, you know, looking at opportunities, and I came from a single / no parent household where we have to, first of all, understand the situation you're in, understand where your parents have left you, and then it's like, okay, what's next? What do I want to do? We can try and instill this in kids when they're very young, but at the same time, we don't want to traumatize them, because I feel like one thing that we can be robbed of as a child is your innocence.
100%.
And fine, we have the minds of 20-year-olds, 22-year-olds, 16 when we were there, but the mind of a 5-year-old is innocent as anything. You wake up, you look at your parents, you know, you want your toy, you want to go play with your friends. We have to be careful to not rob them of that too early.
Word.
Because, I mean, we don't want to make our 7-year-olds be 20-year-olds or older or whatever. Like, we want them to understand it at the stage, but we don't want to, turn them into office workers and
Yeah, but school perpetuates that, though. You have to be mindful about school. Sorry to Tim to cut you off, but school perpetuates that. So if you, for example, like where my missus went to sixth form, that you had to come into suits. Like if you went, like for example, my son now, the school that he goes to, he wears a blazer, wears a tie, and it kind of indoctrinates your mind kind of a bit subconsciously as well. And then we have to, and this is why I spoke from a parent's sort of lens, because school, as much as I could do this as a parent and install these type of things, you have to be very conscious about what school sort of perpetuates, especially if your kids are very high achievers and they go to high achievers. You know, there's schools like Whitgift around here as well. The likes of Callum Hudson or Doye went to the type of footballers, but they still pressure the idea that you have to go into suits and ties because they prepare you for that, that work. You get what I'm saying? So you got to be a bit mindful about schools and the sort of narratives that they sort of push as well.
Yeah, but I don't feel that's a bad narrative. What? Do you feel like wearing a tracksuit to a business meeting in Canary Wharf is appropriate?
Listen,
Like,
it can change the game, but I know you're right. Of course, it's beneficial, but it also has negative connotations as well. Because what, like I said, is it perpetuating the idea that you still have, like, like I said, if you don't want to put it for too early, like I said, my son wears a suit and a tie. Even me, I remember saying to her, "Do we have to? Does he really have to? Why can't you just wear just a normal jumper and stuff like that?" It's not saying that, does he have to wear a blazer? But the school standards uphold that as well, because for the next step, the idea is that you go to a well-established school that you used, and you establish that you suit and tie, you get into that work mode already. And for example, like my missus who went to these type of schools, it derailed her a bit. She skipped out of school because it was too much. It was hard, like what I mean. And of course, there's a lot of factors to that as well. But yeah, for certain kids, it's cool and it's a fine. You can have that kid who's like 18 and miles ahead of his age, but at the same time, we still have to keep them in line. And for certain kids, they fall out of line. That's why we have this conversation with schools at the moment, and hence why I'm working with young children at the moment, because they suffer from these type of issues as well. They're going to schools and feeling the pressure of the high intensity, because you have to uphold this, because you are seen as the person that will have to go to Deloitte, you have to go to JP Morgan to uphold those work standards. If you do not have it when you're young here now, you're not going to succeed in that type of environment. So those are the language that school perpetuates and stuff like that, which I'm trying to also encourage to change that sort of narrative for young kids as well. So you have to be very cautious about that.
But if you can't, yeah, just there's the quote unquote devil's advocate. Obviously, you can't guarantee that you can change the school mentality of how they want your kids to be. You then got to be at home. That's then your job is then at home to be I guess the opposite, in terms of just like being able to encourage them a different way. You know what I mean? So they can have that reprieve of like, like when I get home, I don't have that same level of same level of almost like indoctrination at home. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a problem I know for me and bare other kids of our generation, where our parents, you know what I mean, would be at home giving you the same level of indoctrination that you gotta be this and you gotta be that, you gotta dress this way, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, otherwise you will be a failure or whatever. Like if that's where you need that reprieve at home to be able to understand, all right, cool, there are other ways to get, there's like the other ways to skin a cat, whatever, you know what I mean? That's where you are learning, that's how you're learning alternatives. That home can be just focusing on home being the alternative instead of trying to focus on what you can do with the school, because there's only so much we can do with schools, you know what I mean? Because they're built a certain way. Their mindset is a certain way, and that's probably never, well, maybe not never going to change, but it's going to take a long time before we get to a point where it encourages, the kind of things that you're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we gotta be careful though, because I mean, let's just say from our point as the parents, right? We hear about some of these footballers that talk about when their parents used to take them to training and this and that. Some of their parents were hard on them. Some of these parents were like, if you don't make this training, if you don't get this, and I mean, we celebrate when they score every weekend, but some of them come out now and give us some interviews talking about different points in their life when they were making these moves. We heard about when Henry went to Barcelona and he had mental issues and this and that. Like, it would exist at a younger age too. So it's like, it's a final age. It's a fine line where we have to be very careful with it. Be mindful. Yeah, you want your kid to do well, but not over person, like obviously maybe cause anxieties from an early age, or they know that their parent used to be very paranoid or very anxious about, I need to make this, or I need to go to school. I mean, I do agree. Schools are kind of indoctrinating, trying to push this kind of thing. So your job from home, at least, is where you can soften the blow, but at least it's like someone teaching you, but they're on your team. You're not trying to punch them in the face saying, get this thing right now. But it's like, no, learn this thing, understand this thing, without all the negative bits.
Yeah, I hear you.
Hard work, man. Like trying to find that balance.
Yeah,
It's definitely,
exactly.
definitely hard work.
I mean, the Nigerians can relate in the house where, your mother and your parents were saying, so bad feel bye, my one you leave, don't come here. Like, you feel
so
now, don't
interesting?
come to this house.
Yeah.
Because I've been thinking about that recently. Like, I actually have a problem with like making mistakes, not succeeding at stuff. Like I think it's only more and more apparent to me, and it's something that I'm actively working on, where it feels as though if I make a mistake, and I think I realize as well that because I have that mindset of not making mistakes, blah, blah, blah. I hold other people to that standard. But then other people haven't been raised that way. Like, it's okay. They've been raised with, it's okay to make mistakes and whatnot. Like, I even implement this even down to, like, when I'm driving and stuff. Like, it's okay for people to not... Say, for example, you signal and you want to go right. But then last minute you go left and then you cut me off quickly, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's okay that people can put people to make that just change their mind and have made a mistake and they signal the wrong way. Like, these things are okay, but it just getting that balance is very... I feel like it's tricky.
Do you feel like it's one of those? Because to me, I hear everything that Timmy's saying. It seems very like that should be the right way to do it, the healthy way to make sure that their mental health, everything's in balance. Yeah. But in the back of my mind, it almost feels like if you kind of take that approach, there's somebody else who isn't that will get their child into the place that your child could have been. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so you sometimes have to weigh up the thought like, okay, cool. Yes, my child is the best footballer in the world and has some mental health. Okay.
Some. Just a sprinkle.
But they could be also, no disrespect to anybody who's working just as a, receptionist. Yeah. But they could also be a receptionist with the same mental health.
But then you got to think though, you got a child who is successful by the standards that you believe is successful, but they're not happy and they don't feel fulfilled in life. Yeah. But then had they been in another job where maybe there's something they wanted to do or whatever the case, they might be happy and they might be living a more fulfilled life. So it's about what you think is worth gambling. And that's why, even bringing it back to what we're talking about, success depends on each person. Yeah. Like my idea of what success is has changed over the years and the things I want to achieve has changed over the years. And because I know that maybe the things I was going for before, like I wanted to be a lawyer, like that was the goal, that was the vision. Yeah. And then I was just like, it's not what I want to do anymore. And if I still went with it, I don't think my life would be as full as it feels now with me not doing that, me now pursuing the career that's different, which I feel like is more in line with my purpose and why God created me. Do you get me? So it's about that, because yes, you might push your child in that way and blah, 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 but then now your child resents you. Yeah. And that's why I feel like even with the balance, it's tricky because it will, like, say you got multiple kids, each child is differently abled. Each child, like my brother's got the militant like mindset of we need to do this, get it done, like that's how he is. Yeah. And it's so funny because even like with his children, that's how he's like my niece, she does school, she's got after school clubs, she does tutoring, blah blah blah. But to be fair, like she enjoys this thing because she's that way inclined. Yeah. But if you got a child who isn't into all that stuff and you're pushing them to do that, they can then end up resenting you. So yes, you've raised a child that you think is successful, but that child resents you, doesn't want to spend time with you, and then is dealing with all imposter syndrome, is dealing with all these mental health issues or whatever the case might be. So it's just finding that right balance, and then however it is that you're raising your children, raising them with with the tools they need for life, but also accommodating how different they are. Yeah. Do you mean compared to you or whatever the case might be? 100%. Black Rob says all this therapy talk is gonna make these kids soft.
You're mad hard, pause.
You're an egg.
Do you agree, Ramsey?
Yo.
What, that therapy makes kids soft?
No, he's saying everything that we're talking about. Like,
no, I think it's important to have kids regulate their own emotions.
And that's part of the problem. Because how many adults don't know how to regulate their emotions?
What are you talking about? Sometimes you just want to debate. You're just talking nonsense. What are you talking about? What's he talking about? What is it a bad thing for kids to be able to articulate their feelings?
Because you know what it is? Because I feel like when people, because that is a lot of people do believe that. Like, oh, this therapy talk, this mental health stuff, is making people soft, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But the reality of it is that there's adults who did not grow up with those talks. And we see what their life looks like now. 100%. We see the conversations they're having about how they're struggling. We see how it plays out when you don't consider your children's emotions, you don't consider your children's feelings, you don't consider their mental health. Like, we see what this looks like. People are out here just on a random day, just having a breakdown. Just a psychotic break.
Punching
just
up people,
out of nowhere,
punching up their wives, punching up their kids, punching up...
Do you get what I mean? You don't know how to have proper conversations. You don't know how to be around people. You don't know... Like, we see... I never understand that argument, because we literally see the results 100%. Of where that has not been taken into accountability. I don't believe that therapy, talking about emotions and therapies and all that stuff makes people soft. It can't. I believe it actually makes people healthier.
Sorry, Esther, can I interject here?
Of course you can, babes.
Yeah, and what you're speaking, Ramsey, I'm so glad you said that as well. And I don't even want to shame Black Rob for saying that, because At the same time, I could understand why I could probably think of ways why he might think that as well. At the same time, me
Black
being a
Crutch too
trainee
smart. Sorry,
therapist,
bro. He's too smart. He's
huh?
too smart.
Fair
Black Crutch too
enough.
smart to be talking nonsense like that. I don't even give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know if he's just talking just to rile people up, but he knows better than that.
Maybe there's more to
Christy
what he
says,
said.
yeah, I hope so. Christy says,
Yeah.
I think the problem is it's gone too far left. What does too far left mean? Because you guys see conversations regularly now about therapy, is gone too far left? That's not the metric for how far we've
I'm
gone
a
with
trainee
conversations about
therapist, and I
therapy and
see all
mental
those
health.
people. People that you talk about is the people that I see, and when you after you see the 6 sessions, they're the one that thank you for, because this has benefited me. I wasn't able to speak about these type of things, and I'm not just talking about just me. I'm working with an organization like in the heart of like Southeast London, where you get all different types of people, and you'll be surprised at people that come into therapy for actually deciding to think, you know what, I've been so hard-headed, or I've done this to my kids, I've done this to myself, that I feel like I need to go and speak up. And how much lighter or how much that therapy has changed. Like if you're gonna go into therapy thinking that it's gonna change you, that's a whole nother thing. But the idea to speak about the material that you suppressed or that's deep in your subconscious is beneficial. It's not soft for doing that. What is it soft for talking about your feelings? Since when I speak about my feelings all the time, but what are you gonna consider me soft? But it's benefited my relationship for 7 years, and it's benefited me to have good relationship with my sisters and my siblings, and that's me talking about my thoughts and my feelings and allowing other people to do the same and facilitating that space, and that's outside of therapy. But don't even talk to, like, obviously saying it's like going soft and going left. I do agree with you, because people abuse that. That's what we tend to do when we find something. We want to find something abuse. So I can't work today because of my mental health. No, shut up. You're just upset about one thing, still going to work. There's other avenues to sort that as well, and I can understand why people do abuse that sort of side of things as well, and there's a fine line. But however, let's not get it twisted. With the idea of our generation, and therapy has been a big conversation, it's because we're starting to understand the impact it has, not
Word.
just on yourself, but just on others as well. And hear
Exactly.
me, I did not put 6 grand into this career for people to turn around and say, yeah, oh, speaking about your feelings is making people soft. No, because when people come out and say that therapy has benefited them, that's a win. Do you get what I'm saying? And even if therapy doesn't benefit you, at least the space to actually speak about something was still beneficial in that way, even if they choose not to come to therapy after again. But the fact that they was allowed to be in a space, there was no person that was shaming me or made me feel bad. I was able to say, in a therapy room, as a training therapist, I can tell you the mad things that I heard in a therapy room. But then again, what do you think I'm shaming them? But look how lighter they feel. Look how even they changed. I remember seeing a client who was, pale face, really like rigid, like, hair, like just all a mess. We worked through the 6-week sessions, bro. The change that you see in that person,
Quality of life is different.
quality of life and perspective, the awareness of understanding one's own traumas, one's own feelings, to now articulate, to have better relationships in their own personal life with their own kids. So it's absolutely crazy when people have this idea of talking about this stuff. I remember last time I came on this platform, someone's, it was a bit funny. Someone said, "Oh, look at this plant-based parenting." I was like, at one point, I was like, that was funny. I was like, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I hear it, that vegan type, that vegan type thing. But at the same time, like, it's benefiting my kids. My kids can tell me today. Casper said to me, "Oh, Dad, I'm feeling very emotional this morning." Oh my gosh, look, and how I parent now is a bit different to the days when Casper's actually waking up absolutely all excited. But for him to have that vocab at 4 years old, ask yourself, did you have those vocab, or was you able to allow to go to your parent and say, "Oh, I'm feeling overwhelmed," or "I'm feeling upset about this"?
Or did you just
might
go to
have
school and terrorize every single person that came into freaking contact with you? And still do to today.
That's what I was doing.
Oh,
Yeah, it's displacement of emotions, and that's what we call it. Displace emotion. Because I didn't get to articulate my thoughts and feelings, I displace it into something else. That's why I take drugs. That's why I have bad relationships. I get into toxic things. There's so many things that can go into so many deep layers. But the idea of, first and foremost, to be able to speak about certain things is important, whether it be a therapist, whether it be your friend, or whether or not you come here to actually listen to other people speak about certain things. I hope it just encourages you to speak about your own sort of emotions, because it's very important. Because we saw our generation before, how hurt they are. As much as I love my mum and my dad, you are hurt individuals, and I make sure that I'm not going to try and parent my kids in that sort of way.
100%.
And if it will be my children to cause another sort of generational trauma, but that's another thing. But for me as now, I do not parent the way that my parents did, because I can see why.
amazingly.
How much as I benefited from that, I still deeply feel hurt by my inner child. And that's why I go to personal therapy to still talk about my inner child and still talk about how hurt I felt that, my mum and my dad was beefing and my dad wasn't around. But it helps me lighter. It gives me a different perspective. So when I go into that parent mode where I am a dad, I speak to my children differently. I see my children differently. I see that when I worked in a school and I see these clients and stuff like that, I see these people very differently. You have much more compassion. You have much more awareness that allows people to have that sort of, willingness to change. If you can't speak about your feelings, how you be willing to change?
Do you know what? To
Hey,
piggyback onto
sorry.
what you said, Reese says you have to articulate your feelings because otherwise it builds into something dangerous and harmful. If you ride like lightning, you're gonna crash like thunder. Word.
Big
Some
up
people that
Reese.
do not know how to communicate properly, like it's what when they were saying it's just misplaced, displaced, every other way placed emotions because you don't know how to speak, you don't know how to how to even feel your feelings or know what it is that you're feeling. Just run off vibes and being a terror to every single person who unfortunately comes in contact with you. Very backwards way of thinking.
You're not gonna put up that thing that Black Rob put up?
Morning, Christy.
No, they didn't.
Hold up, let me find
Morning, guys.
Morning.
Just to expand on my comment, because I know you lot like to tussle, and I'm not here to tussle today. I agree with everything Welcome said. I'm not saying I don't advocate for therapy or all of that kind of stuff. That's not what I'm saying. I'm speaking from perspective who's a mother of a son. When I said too far to the left, I think even certain therapists have come out and said the way people talk about therapy now is kind of become a crutch. And that's more what I'm speaking to. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go to therapy or it's not the way people, obviously our generation back in the day, could have benefited from it. 100% they could have. But I think now, there's a generation where it's kind of been a crutch. Like, for example, the clip of the girl who now was like, oh, you didn't think about my mental when she was using a baton. I'm just more speaking to that kind of thinking, or that kind of resting on the laurels, like using these buzzwords. And realistically, it's just to rest on your laurels, not that you're actually just kind of, that's why I say it's gone far to the left in that sense. Obviously, if you're doing the work, cool. But I think it becomes a thing where it can kind of give people a certain out, in my opinion. That's all I'm saying.
Fair.
Cool. Yeah,
It's true. Black Rob posted data shows conservative parents kids have better mental health than liberal parents.
Okay.
What side is he on?
I think he's just basically speaking to the fact that if it's too excessive, it's too free, and
that's
like
the
the
problem there,
liberals, then it's not as good.
But that's the issue there, because I get that people are talking about the extremes and whatnot, but we're not in a place in society when we can start talking about the extremes, because for the reality is a lot of people cannot afford therapy. A lot of people cannot have these conversations. There's still more people who don't believe that mental health is an actual, like, is
a problem.
Is a thing they need to be looking into, but they believe in their physical health, they believe in their spiritual life, but somehow they don't think that the mental health part is something important. So we're not in a place in society for people to start calling out the extremes yet. We're not there. So when you call out the extremes in conversations about progressive, do you know what I mean? Like, in progressive conversations, all it does is just distracts from the conversation we should be having about the progressiveness. People that still talk about mental health are still anomalies. Yes, there are people that misuse it, that abuse it, whatever the case is. Yes, but that's with everything. Yeah. But that doesn't take away from the reality that there are a lot of people who could and who do benefit from therapy, from conversations about them understanding their mental health better and just taking care of their mental health. Like, do you know what I mean? So anyway.
Question, Emmanuel. Do Christians fall into that conservative bracket?
Some Christians do, yeah.
And how about racists?
Some racists do too.
Yeah, I do believe that.
Yeah.
Got great mental health all round.
Yeah, I mean, I have two separate cases. where the product of two racist parents or even one racist parent would have a particular child think in a particular way, and the product of two Christian parents would have a child think in a particular way, and the approach to life would be completely in contrast with each other. Do you understand? So when he says conservative and liberal, you can find gaps in that same statement.
Oh, 100%, of course. 100%.
It's just that it can't be quantified.
He believes
a lot of shit that can't be quantified. And I'm gonna preface by saying Black Rob is not stupid, but it's funny where he wants to. Do you know what I mean? It's interesting to me.
Like, even if you disagree, I hear you, but why do you think it can't be quantified?
What that they don't know. We have to send me the source. So I have to see how they've quantified it. Because if it's just a tick box exercise and they're asking conservatives, "How's your mental health?" and they go, "Really good, really good." Yeah, like, there's loads of variables. I need to see if it's been thoroughly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that is such it's too many variables.
Yeah, 100%.
I can't just take that and then go, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
Like, it's just, there's loads of stuff. I saw one video saying that conservatives have shit sex compared to liberals, and then there's just too many. I don't.
Yeah, the Christians be getting in,
Apparently they don't.
Hey.
Apparently liberals do, but conservatives don't.
Hey.
But some Christians are liberals. This is what Brent's trying to say.
Precisely.
You know what I mean? So,
But I meant more because is it evangelical Christians in America? Because they see sex as just to procreate, right? And they only see women as vessels in which to have babies. They don't see it. That was the argument they were putting up. That their sex life is so dead compared to liberals. It was
Evangelical Christians in America?
the ones that are super conservative, super Trump, super yeah. That is it trad wife? I don't.
Yeah, they got the whole trad
It's
wife
not my
thing.
story, yeah. So they're just like, your wife stay at home, that they have shit sex apparently.
Anyway.
But yeah, anyway, that shit can't be quantified, Rob. It's one of the dumb things you put up. But yeah, source it in the Discord.
I think Black Rob, the name is a trigger for you anyway, so
I like that,
anytime you
Rob.
want to
I've
be
got issue with him.
incensed,
He can take
Black
a joke.
Rob.
But when he says shit, and he says, no, it's dumb shit. That's it. It's not personal.
Anyway, let's not say his name too much. They're doing it for you. Thank you guys, everyone who's called in.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate the
Thank
wisdom.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, welcome. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Christy. And thank you, Black Rob. Much
y'all.
appreciated. We're going to pop into the next segment.
Yes, please.
All right, let me just pop this off. Dun, 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 dun. I need to put all these buttons on this Stream Deck so it's easier. Because whenever this kind of stuff happens, it's just taking too long to... Oh, there we go.
You tell me twice.
All right, people, trigger warning on this one. Big trigger warning. A 13-year-old girl has been charged with the murder of a woman following a house fire in Wellingborough, Northamptonshire. The child, who cannot be named for legal reasons, was arrested on Monday after a body was discovered in a house on Newcomen Road around 3 a.m. She's also charged with arson with an attempt to endanger life. The victim is believed to be 43-year-old mother of three, Marta Bednarczyk, though the full identification is still pending. A forensic post-mortem investigation indicated the preliminary cause of death as sharp force injury. Police and firefighters responded to reports of the fire where they found her body, and paramedics declared her dead at 3:29 a.m. A scene guard remains in place and police are asking the public to avoid the area. Next headline, and this is takes us back home, where the Democratic Republic of Congo is seeking to strengthen ties with the US in its fight against advancing M23 rebels. Congo hopes to strike a deal involving critical minerals like cobalt, gold and copper, which are vital for various industries, including defense and electric vehicles. Trump is expected to appoint Tiffany Trump's father-in-law, Masoud Boulos, as a regional envoy to the Great Lakes, which includes Congo. Congo faces major military challenges, as you guys know, as M23 rebels, supported by Rwanda, have advanced in the country's mineral-rich east. Regional forces have failed to repel the rebels, and M23 has threatened to march west toward the capital, Kinshasa. The president, Felix Tshisekedi, is exploring a potential economic and military partnership with the US to secure resources and bolster security. Congo holds an estimated $24 trillion in untapped resources, with cobalt being a primary export, mostly going to China. While the US is invested in infrastructure projects in Africa, it lacks a strong presence in Congo's mining sector, which is currently dominated by China. The US is open to partnerships in the mineral sector. Congo could seek military cooperation, including training and equipping soldiers, providing US access to military bases, and also replacing ineffective UN peacekeeping operations. There's skepticism about the feasibility and the immediate impact of such proposals. And Boulos is set to visit Kinshasa soon as part of his new role in the region. This just doesn't sound good to me, if I'm being honest. But I'm pretty sure this will be something that we speak about in the news probably at some point in the year. But yeah. Next headline, trigger warning on this one, big trigger warning. Triple killer Kyle Clifford has been handed a whole life order for the rape and murder of his ex-partner, Louise Hunt, and the murder of her mother, Carol Hunt, and sister, Hannah Hunt. A court previously heard the murders were fueled by violent misogyny promoted by the influencer Andrew Tate after it emerged that Clifford searched for the controversial social media influencer's podcast less than 24 hours before the attacks. Prosecutors previously said that Clifford became enraged when 25-year-old Louise ended their 18-month relationship, leading him to carefully plan the July 9th murders. Clifford gained access to the family home by deceiving her mother, 61-year-old Carol, before stabbing her to death in a brutal knife attack. After killing her, the defendant then lay in wait for an hour for Louise to enter the house before restraining, raping, and ultimately murdering her with a crossbow. He then fatally shot her sister, 28-year-old Hannah, when she returned to the property. And Clifford previously admitted 3 counts of murder, 1 of false imprisonment against Louise, and 2 counts of possession of offensive weapons, the crossbow and the knife. In the days leading up to the attacks, Clifford had searched for how to purchase a crossbow and had accessed pornography, including a video of the former HMP Wandsworth prison officer Linda De Souza Abreu. The prosecutor said that the defendant's violent intentions were shown through the use of weapons and his sexual preoccupations. And that's it for the headlines, guys. It's time to pay them bills.
All right, let's get somewhere on the road. All right, not much for me today because I gotta skedaddle on out of here. Trigger warning on the first one. He's a young filly who, as a lot of people know, is currently in Australia and has been charged for 3 counts of assault, occasioning bodily harm, 1 of strangulation, and 4 counts of sexual penetration without consent. Quite a long story short, is sexual assault charge, basically. He's pleaded not guilty to it, and his hearing is the 13th of June. So he's currently out on bail, and obviously can't leave the country. So he's been there. This happened last year, September. Time's really going by quickly. So he's, well, not for me, obviously, because I'm not under trial. But so he's currently there and pleaded not guilty to the counts, and we'll see what happens. But his trial's in June. So that's the latest on that stuff. I like Idris Elba a lot. Basically, one of the guys from D Block Europe, Dirtbike,
I saw that.
I believe his name is. He was, I think his streams or something. He was streaming anyway, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, he talks about how he had an encounter with Idris Elba. I can't remember exactly where now. But basically, he says that, what was it he said again? Did he go to greet him or something and he didn't...
He said he met him somewhere, he didn't get the right vibe from
yeah,
what I
basically
remember.
get the right vibe.
I don't even know if he greeted him, I think it was just a thing where he just felt as though Idris was kind of giving him the energy.
Yeah, giving the energy of
like, you shouldn't be here.
Yeah,
sort of
and stuff like that. Again, this is why... Do you know what's interesting? Because I forgot to say when we were talking about the whole thing. Someone brought... I can't remember who brought up the school uniforms thing. And I think with school uniforms and stuff like that, it's not so much... Obviously, if a school is saying because you're going to work as a lot, you're going to do this, that's different. But I do think for the most part, it does teach children just discipline and like personal hygiene and all this kind of stuff, and just lets you know, just teaches this stuff, right? And people that who may not have come from that background, when you're in, even if you're successful and you're in other spaces and you feel like people around that are dressed, the people, of course, that are confident in whatever they're wearing, and that's fine. But sometimes because of how it is that clothes can be seen, you then might think that people are looking down on you because you're not dressed the way they are. And sometimes, yeah, they are. Sometimes it's just in your head kind of thing. But from what we've known Idris Elba to do and like the work he's done, blah blah blah. I don't think that. I doubt. Obviously, I don't know the man personally, but he doesn't come across as someone who would be looking at somebody like, "What are you doing here?" Blah blah blah. Like he had a whole thing. Do you know what I mean? He does so much with like black men and all that stuff for it to ever been that. But anyway, that's how he felt, and if that's how he feels, that's how he feels. Fair. But then he went on to as well to say that all of this anyway, he's got a bigger private jet than Idris Elba, and again, it goes into that conversation about how the metric of success is the Idris Elba. Yes, I get he's a very successful artist and whatever else, but it's the Idris Elba. And you know, it's like when people think that, you know, they're automatically that they're richest because they wear all designer stuff. But then billionaires
Don't wear shit.
are just don't wear visible loud labels. But then you think because you're LV dripped from top to bottom, you're the richest in the room.
Plus, was Idris going somewhere by himself?
No,
Or
he was
did
with
he
his
have-
wife.
He was with his wife, he was with his family,
Why did he
he
need
was
the
other
big
people
one?
around.
You were obviously there with Bear Man as well, so that's fine. So you might need more seats.
Of course you
Why
bloody
does the
do.
man need to have... Come on, guys.
And why? And how is that the metric of why you should not disrespect me? And then again, this is another thing with the success thing where people feel like because you got so much, like you're owed.
Yeah.
The
Like, look
respect.
at me type.
Yeah, and it's weird. It's weird.
Why isn't it more smarter and cooler to be smarter with your money? If he's got a smaller jet, he's saving more money than you with the
That's how
bigger
they
jet.
get you.
Either way, you never know. He might own that jet. You're leasing.
You're my renting it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know why it seems like a.
It's
like
very
a flex.
backwards thinking. But a lot of people think about like when it comes like when you think about material stuff and money and like the way people generally typically think about these things is very, very backwards.
Yeah.
And it's sad because it's not the kind of mindset that gets you further in life. Do you get what I mean? Anyway, that's just that. So he was saying all of this and whatever else and saying, yeah, like all of this anyway, and my jet isn't even as my jet was bigger than yours and blah 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 blah, all that stuff. Anyway, I think it's embarrassing to have ever talked about Idris Elba like this. Personally, I would have kept that shit to myself. But I think it's even more embarrassing because Idris Elba responded.
Yeah.
And he responded in such a classy way. But I just think if that was me, I'd be so shy for myself and so embarrassed for myself that, like, the thought of it just makes me cringe. But anyway, Idris Elba says, yo, and then at him, dirt bike, blah, blah, blah. My brother, I promise you it wasn't like that. Apologies if I gave off that energy. It wasn't intentional. Next time we'll link on your plane, not mine. Wink emoji.
Nice.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all there is. Do you get what I mean? Like, these are things that really bother you. These are the things that you really think is so important in life. Okay, fine. Use your jet next time. That's the worst. I think that's the worst part of the response, personally. So anyway, there's that. But onto more sensible things and positive. Look at this young, beautiful Nigerian babe. Just look
All
at
right
her.
then. Big her up, man.
Simisola Gbadamosi, that's her name. She is the youngest Nigerian Emmy nominee.
Oh, mad.
Brent, what's the horns, man?
How old?
She's 13, I believe.
Wow.
How old is she? Yeah,
Amazing.
she's 13. She's 13 years old, and she basically got Emmy nomination for her role in Iwaju, which is that Disney. I haven't watched it. I still haven't watched it.
It's good, you know.
Shout out
But it
Heather.
is. I know it is.
Shout out Heather.
Yeah, Heather Salisbury, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I need to watch it. But yeah, so she got an Emmy nomination for that. So she's in the category of Outstanding Younger Voice Performer in a Preschool, Children's or Young Teen Program.
Dope.
Big up
dope.
her.
Sick.
Just absolutely amazing. Love it. She's just so cute and so sweet. I hope she wins.
Yeah, man.
Obviously for what's it called? Bias sake. But her mum says, so not her mum, she said, being nominated for this Emmy is truly an honor. I'm so grateful to be recognized along with incredible talent whom I've actually watched and to be part of a project that means so much. This moment is a dream that I didn't know I had come true. I didn't know I had come true, basically. Which is nice. Well, this is why representation matters. Because if she's never seen someone like her on TV or whatever, she might have never thought it was possible. So hence the dream she didn't know she had. Do you know what I mean? So big up her anyway. This cutie. And I do hope that she wins. But yeah, love to see it.
Is the Emmys televised?
The Emmys?
Yeah.
It is. I
Alright.
feel like the televised but I don't know if her category will,
That's what I'm saying. I'm hoping it is because then that will be.
That would be amazing.
Because it's
as
nice,
well.
obviously, she's been nominated.
Yeah.
But it will be further.
Yeah, but you know, like things to do with Africa,
embellished
they
if
don't
she's on the
even
TV.
nominating like that.
They should be.
Because everyone in the Yeah, actually, yeah. I don't know.
13-year-old winning. That'd be
That'd
crazy.
be iconic.
Yeah, so
That'd be
they should
absolutely
put it on
amazing.
TV.
Don't worry, when it is Team B's up and running, we will have feed for people to basically watch the Emmys and know
Oh,
that
that'd be
they
nice.
can come here to watch the Emmys.
Come on.
Yeah, we have someone
That'd
in
be
a cap and that. Obviously, we'll go right to her and then say,
Inshallah.
here's your award, even though you make one fake. It's the one that really matters.
But big up her, man. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. That is it for me. Told you nice and quick. Gotta go. Let's get in people's journal.
All right, people, welcome to the People's Journal, where I give you the news from an economics point of view. First things first. Keir Starmer's in the news, man.
You never left.
Your guy is in the news, Ramsey.
What?
That's
Hey,
right.
relax.
Get someone you got.
No. Like,
Oh,
not in the
You're
slightest.
Green Party, innit?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got something for you.
No.
All right, then. So maybe you can defend her actions.
Okay.
Right? But anyway, Keir Starmer's basically talking about the current benefit system.
Okay.
He said it's unsustainable. He said it's indefensible, and he says it's unfair.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He doesn't like what's going on, basically, yeah? He said that the government could not shrug its shoulders and look away anymore. So he basically said the current welfare system was the worst of all worlds, right? It discourages people.
The worst,
from
of all worlds.
all worlds, yeah. That's his words.
Look, other worlds don't always have it.
Other
Yeah, I
worlds.
mean,
Galaxies.
talking
What are you
about data and research. Who else did he compare
It's
this
so
to?
jarring, man. Maybe like Black Rob, gone.
And he said it's discouraging people from working. That's what he's saying. So he's not saying it's bad.
This
as
is a
it's
conservative
unfair.
talking point. That's a conservative talking point.
It is, but it's on the Labour, so it's also a Labour talking point. So really,
is,
it's
but
just a
technically
talking
is.
point. But yeah, that's what he's saying. He's basically saying it's discouraging people from working
Yeah.
while producing a spiraling bill.
So
Do you agree?
is this got to do with the fact that they're gonna start doing checks on benefits and they're gonna start reducing it? Because I've heard something about that.
Yeah.
I saw an interview. I can't remember who the lady was, but she was a spokesperson or an MP through Labour, and the question was posed to her as to whether Labour have done a risk assessment on how those changes will affect people that actually need it, and she just completely dodged the question and just repeated herself like the way MPs do. So it's disgusting.
But is it
It's
disgusting,
nasty.
or do you want to give them a chance though?
But I saw
Because-
people talking about disability.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
so
So
it's
that's
the benefits.
one part of
Yeah,
it. Yes, that's
yeah.
one part of it. That people are saying, we want you to protect the claimants of disability benefits.
Yeah,
you know
this is
what I'm
But they
saying?
Yeah.
haven't done the checks to do that. So they
Yeah.
haven't done the checks to see if they're going to be protected.
Oh.
Yeah. But the health and disability related benefits bill is now £65 billion a year. And it's projected to rise to £100 billion a year over the next 4 years. That's a lot of money, man.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Is it?
They just sent money to. We just
Take it
increased
back
the
from Ukraine.
GDP to Ukraine.
We
I
afford it.
don't
Everybody can
understand.
be.
How much
can
did we
get
waste on
benefit.
PPE again?
But that was the previous time.
It doesn't matter. How much did we waste on PPE? That
A
was
lot of
nothing.
money.
That was
A lot
under the
of
rug.
money.
No one cared about that. Oh, it happened, but this is expected to rise. And
No, but I'm just saying it's not fair to bring up the Tories failing on Labour. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You're trying
they'll
to.
fail
I see
by
what you're trying to
themselves.
do. You're not smart. I know what you're trying to do.
What am I doing?
I know what you're doing. Don't try to seem like you're backing Labour. Like you're
No,
being
no, I'm
fair.
I'm always being fair. I'm always being fair.
All right, man.
You guys just don't see it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm always being fair. And, you know, like, I think the reality is, there's something going on with the benefit system. It's
Yes.
not working.
That's what we've been saying, though.
Yes, it's
but
not
they
working.
need to do the thorough checks and spend
Cool.
and invest the proper money
Yeah.
to reinforce it and check where there are holes,
Yeah.
check where there's gaps, and then fill it. As opposed to just go, fuck it, we'll just redo it and let the people pay for it. This is the issue with
Yeah.
most of the governments: is they let the poor people pay for everything. If there's a mistake, poor people pays. If they want to reduce something, if they want to change something, it's always at the cost or the behest of either vulnerable old people or poor people.
But isn't that because that's where the money goes to? So it wouldn't even make sense to say, they're attacking the poor people if the money from the benefit system doesn't go to the rich. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's only going to go to that place. That's where we have to cut it from.
What do you mean? Say that word again.
So you're saying, it's always going to be the poor people that suffer and all the vulnerable people, right? And I'm saying, yeah, but that's because that's where the money goes. It doesn't go anywhere else. So if it goes to the rich people, then of course.
Of course it does. What are you talking? Sorry, I had to read what you said.
What, rich people are claiming benefits?
No,
That's what I'm talking about.
the rich people aren't taxed enough. So they have
insane.
to.
Of course they are.
They're not taxed enough. They're not taxed enough.
Well, that's a political opinion. That's not a case of.
If
they're
we
dodging the
raise
law.
taxes for the ones that have the broader shoulders,
Yeah.
we would get a lot more money
To go
as
in the bin.
opposed to taking but then you're talking about it in a entirety.
Yeah.
Don't start moving goalposts now. You're saying to raise more money,
Yeah.
then they should start sorting out the benefit system.
No,
Yes.
no, I'm
Hold
not
on.
saying that.
Hold on. I agree 100%. However, if
Yeah.
we start taxing the ones that can afford it,
Yeah.
then we'll also have a lot more money to sort out and invest in our infrastructure that isn't working properly. I don't see why. Again, when we're low on money, go to the poor. They need to pay for that.
No,
Let's
but
take
this-
away
this
money
is
from
where
councils.
you're-
Let's take away money from the benefit system.
No, but
Do you get what I'm
you're
saying?
mixing up things. I'm not saying, oh, when there's an issue, go to the poor. The issue is the issue is there's never going to be enough money for everything. That's always going to be a case, right? But what I am saying is the money that's allocated to benefits, to the welfare system, right? That's what they want to kind of squeeze because they're seeing that a lot of it's being wasted. And I'm saying for you to say, oh yeah, but it's always the poor that suffer. I'm saying in this particular situation, of course, because it's only the poor that are claiming the benefits, or at least the large majority of it. So of course it's not going to be the rich who are affected by it. The rich need to be affected, if you believe they should be affected, in a different way. But as it pertains to benefits, the welfare system, it's only going to be those people.
I understand, but
That's
I
what I'm
wasn't
saying.
talking solely on that.
Okay, cool.
In that barometer, I was talking in
Just in general.
Yeah.
Okay,
for,
cool.
For the whole thing, it's always the poor that pays. If you want to bring on another thing, like I said with the councils,
Yeah.
it's the poor that pays. When we talk about raising the taxes for the businesses,
Yeah.
then economically the businesses are going to start raising the prices. It's
100%.
the poor that pays. So there's multiple examples in which I can give for this, which is why I'm saying poor people are always at the behest.
But don't you see it as the same way? If you tax the rich, the poor will pay too.
No,
Why? Why do you think they're separated?
Because I don't think. Well, one, we haven't tried it because they refused to try
Of
it.
course they've tried it.
How did they try it?
They raise taxes. They raise taxes in different areas.
No, they raise taxes for everyone. So the that's what I'm saying. The poor still their
But it's
taxes are getting raised
yeah,
as
but
well.
it's still rich people who get taxed more also.
I guess so,
right?
but there is a huge
Disparity, yeah.
Yeah, there's a huge
I hear you.
disparity. That's all I'm saying. Just tax the rich, and I don't like the argument that the rich people will leave because they haven't. We haven't seen.
Oh,
that.
that's just not true. They have left. Of course they have. They've left. I can get you the figures for it. They've left. Many of the rich have left. Plus, like
because
your
it
other
wasn't
argument.
because of the tax though. That was
it because
mostly due to because of Brexit.
No. It's
Yes.
I'll get the figures for you. So, and I'll post it in
Okay,
Discord for you.
alright, cool.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
but the reality is they leave. But even if they don't leave, like you rightfully were saying about the other thing, they'll just pass on the cost to us, the consumers. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the tariffs thing. You know what I'm saying? You think you're doing a good job for America, making protecting America's economy and things of that nature. But the people that suffer predominantly will be the people in America.
I can't speak on the tariffs because I don't know nothing about it. So I'm gonna stay away from American politics.
But I'm just trying to say it's a similar sort of principle. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the time when we think we're trying to help by taking from certain places, there's always a way that it cycles back and it just doesn't work long term.
So sort out those gaps then. So
Of
instead
course,
of
they have
again, I
But
go
they
back
take-
to the
they
original
just take
point.
time, though.
Instead of making poor people pay for it, sort out the system as it is now
Mm.
and fill in the gaps instead of making people pay for it. Invest more into structure. Invest more into logistics. Invest. Come on,
Which is what I think the Labour government is doing.
they ain't doing that shit.
That's
He
not
had
fair,
lower money.
man.
The first thing he did, let the poor people pay for it. Now,
That's
we're
not
running
true
low.
though,
Yes,
man.
it's true. Yes, it is true.
The
'Cause he weren't doing enough for
the man said he's taking
the
600
winter fuel
billion.
tax.
Huh?
The winter fuel tax.
No, forget that part.
What would you mean?
No. What I'm saying is, you're saying he's not doing anything in terms of investing. They've taken 600 and something billion to invest in GB energy. That's
Isn't-
something that the Tories would do.
Is it Rachel Reeves now getting scolded for her
What, her budget?
her budget? Because
Of course,
it
but she
came
has
out as-
to.
No, but
It's
she
gonna
messed
happen.
up on her budget. So now again, they're taking it out of the wrong places. That's my whole point. That's it. Labour are they're not doing things right. Everything that we said that they were
Yeah.
going to do, they're doing.
Every-
They're just blue red.
everything
What's that together? It's purple, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But this is what I mean. I was telling you guys before this, but nobody wanted to
I
listen
never
to
voted
me.
Labour.
Nobody wanted to listen to me. You know what I mean? But here we are. But I'm just trying to say that they didn't have the best government, the best thing to work with. You
They
know
had
what
your
I'm saying?
boys though.
Who?
They had your boys.
What do you mean? How?
They had the
Tories
Conservatives.
before?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Tories had messed up a lot of the stuff. You know what I'm saying? Plus, the economy just wasn't wasn't in a healthy shape. You know what I'm saying? So I do feel for Labour, but I do feel like some of their changes will make things worse.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
But
what we're saying. Yeah.
we'll see what happens. Obviously, like we just mentioned briefly, America, they've got these tariffs. The president of the Germany central bank is basically saying these tariffs on goods that's being imported into the US could tip Europe's largest economy into another recession. People are also saying there could be a potential recession for America too. You know what I'm saying?
I
Because
heard
of
Trump
these.
didn't rule it out.
Yes, 100%. He said it's going to be tough. To be fair, he said it's going to be tough before he did the tariffs. But he's saying now, yeah, it's going to be tough, man. But again, long term, he believes this is going to be good for America. Of
course he
You
does.
know what I'm saying?
And,
That's the reason why he's
Tesla
doing it.
shares dropped
They did
the
indeed.
lowest it's been since its inception or something.
No. That's not true. It's probably since November. Since November.
Nah, I don't think it was that.
No, 100%. I've got the stats. It's 100%. But the thing is, it did drop by almost like 50%. It's like 47%. It dropped.
Is that
at its
not
peak.
the lowest since its inception then, technically?
No, it's been like it boosted since November
Yes. So
to like 400 something.
so what's
per
the
share.
lowest it's dropped to?
Okay, let me show you.
Right? This is the lowest.
Since
if it's
its
below
inception.
50%, it's the lowest since its inception.
How?
Which it basically means, have they ever dropped lower than 50% before?
Okay, you're talking about the rate of drop. I thought you meant the price is the lowest.
No.
Okay, yeah. You might be right. Yeah, you might be right. 100%. Yeah, you might be right on that. But yeah, it was 400 something since it just went up crazy, like about 100%, I believe, almost 100% from November. So basically, since Trump took office, you know what I'm saying. But obviously, due to the tariffs, the Nasdaq, the entire
You don't
S&P
think
500.
the Nazi salute had anything to do with it?
Nah. I think just the stock market is just doing bad.
Okay, all right.
A lot of things have hit the stock market. Remember that whole thing, Brent, with what's that ChatGPT rival? Deep
Fake? Deep state? Deep
what?
Deep Seek.
Oh, Deep
Deep
Seek.
Seek.
That's it.
Yeah, when what's it called? Nvidia is a huge company when it comes to the S&P 500,
Yeah.
top 10, I believe, top 5 even. So obviously, when DeepSeek came out, their stocks dropped. The entire S&P kind of dropped a bit as well. Plus, with the tariffs, people losing confidence in American industries and things of that nature because everything's going up.
Yep.
There also the stocks dropped as well. So that's the reason why Tesla went down and all that sort of stuff. The last thing I wanted to kind of end on is just to say with these tariffs, if Trump goes forward with it, I know he's already implemented them, but what I mean is long term, because again, some people believe he's just using it as a leveraging tool. In the same way, he's kind of scaring people in other areas because again, you guys don't want to give him credit, but he's he's good at making deals, right? And the reality is, some people believe that he's trying to do this to try and get better, more favorable deals for America.
I understand that.
Yeah.
That logic, 100%.
Yeah.
What good deals has he made?
What you mean in life?
No, but you said he made good deals. So
Yeah.
what's
He's
the
a
good deals?
billionaire. The deals he makes in his personal life, in his business.
Okay.
The bank
Through the droves of
through the jobs.
through the droves of messed up businesses he's on top of, through the droves of all the shit that he's done that wasn't successful, and through the fact that he came from his dad's money anyway. So if I started from a small loan of $1 million, I would probably be successful as well.
But maybe because maybe you have the business acumen. It doesn't mean that you're crap though. You know what I'm saying? That you can still make good deals. And somebody else with $1 million could also lose it. We've seen people lose millions all the time. And Trump lost it too. But he came back.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I just wanted to say there's some industries where I guess, will be affected. Potentially cars, in terms of how much your cars will cost and things of that nature, are expected to go up.
Are you talking about in America still, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, that reminds me, Keir Starmer said we're not ruling out potentially getting involved in this trade war, you know? Because the initial idea was we ain't going to impose some tariffs on them. But
in America?
Yeah.
They ain't doing nothing, man.
No, but he said they're not ruling out now.
America sneezes, we catch it, man. He ain't doing nothing. Our foreign policy is whatever they do, we do.
Yes, for the most part, yeah, 100%. But yeah, it's going to affect a lot of stuff around the world. But in terms of even America, to make it more so America for American viewers and whatnot, definitely the price of cars is likely to go up. Beers, whiskey, tequila,
of course, because
they're
they're not manufacturing any of their stuff anymore.
They
become a very nothing. They're not a powerhouse at all in regards to
production.
Manufacturing. Yeah, China is now.
This is why he's doing what he's doing.
It's not as dumb.
it might be dumb long term. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
it shouldn't be dumb long
From a
term. It should be dumb
capitalist-
short term.
From a capitalist mindset, it's just not what you would do. You know what I'm saying? But he's thinking, if
He's
we
a
continue-
socialist.
Huh?
You saying he's a socialist?
No, he's not so.
Oh, I thought you said from what the idea he has done or what he's implementing in the capitalist mindset.
This isn't a capitalist thing to do. Yeah, it's not.
Okay.
You rely on a free market, but
Okay.
he's not doing that. He's imposing the tariffs. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But then again, long term, he just thinks this would be good for America. But in the short term, as you mentioned, beer, whiskey, tequila. Obviously, they put tariffs on Mexico. That's where it's coming from. You know what I'm saying? So
The
America's
agave
going to be
and that.
paying for that. Going to be paying for that. Houses as well. That's going to be.
God damn, it just
Yeah.
sounds some shit.
It's a lot. Yeah, man. Apparently, the US imports about a third of its softwood lumber from Canada each year. A
Right.
third. You know what I'm saying? And that's the key building material that could be hit by Trump's tariffs. Maple syrup. It's going to
Come
go
on,
up
it's Canadian.
completely. Fuel prices.
Maple syrup is expensive as it is, so I don't know what they're gonna do.
Fuel prices. It's going to go up potentially. Canada is America's largest foreign supplier of crude oil. So potentially going to go up. And avocados, man.
That's the shame. That's the real shame.
They thrive in the Mexican climate, man. Yeah, so if you're going to America, avocados
I'm
will
not going to
probably
America,
cost
but I get you.
the size of a burger. You know what I'm saying? The price of a burger, I should say. But yeah, nearly 90% of the avocados consumed in America,
That makes
90%
sense.
come from Mexico.
It might be cheap then.
Potentially, since it's
It's
right
not
there,
barely
yeah.
in the logistics.
Yeah. But yeah, that's basically the situation, man. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the People's Journal. So let's move on to our headlines.
We will do the asking for friends tomorrow.
Ooh, we got another one?
Yeah, there was.
Okay. All right, people. So, Labour MPs have expressed their concerns. So, this is basically just tying on, piggybacking on to what we mentioned about the benefit cuts, right?
Okay.
So, Labour MPs, again, people within the party are now expressing their concerns about what Labour may do going forward with regards to the benefits. So, a lot of Labour MPs expressed concerns that the government's proposed welfare cuts contradict the party's values. So the government plans over £6 billion in savings through tougher tests for disability benefits and changes to universal credit. So this includes £5 billion savings by making it harder to qualify for PIP, so personal independence payments, which is a benefit designed specifically for disabilities. Freezing PIP payments next year without adjustments for inflation, right? So that's how they're going to get some of this money. Raising the basic rate for universal credit for people in work or looking for work, while reducing it for those judged unfit for work. So I want that to be clear to people. So if you're on universal credit, right, but you're looking for work and you're in work, I guess you're maybe working the minimum hours and stuff, you'd get a bit more. But for those who are fit for work those who are judged unfit for work, you're going to get less. Yes, that's why I wanted to repeat it. Also, they're going to be investing £1 billion in employment support for job seekers as well. So the measures aim to incentivize people to remain in a work search category of universal credit, even if they have a health condition or disability, while saving more than £6 billion a year by the end of the decade. Over 80 Labour MPs reportedly opposed the cuts, believing that they will harm the most vulnerable.
How much, sorry? How much oppose it?
80. Over 80. Yeah, over 80. Disability and poverty charities have also warned of a catastrophic impact from these changes. During a parliamentary Labour Party meeting, Prime Minister Keir Starmer emphasised the need to fix the welfare system, but also acknowledged the concerns raised by these MPs. Senior government sources have suggested departments may need to identify up to 40% of spending as lowest priority in the upcoming cuts. Work and Pensions Secretary Liz Kendall stated that too many people are taking the mickey. These are her words, taking the mickey, by claiming benefits when they should be working, calling for an end. And so she's calling for an end to this. And to be fair, this is what Labour was saying to Tories, weren't they? Sorry. This
So
is
the Conservatives were
Sorry,
saying.
it was saying, you know what I'm saying? And now they're doing exactly the same, like you said. Because it was just an obvious point. There are people taking advantage.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Next headline, a 59-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of manslaughter following a collision between a tanker and a cargo vessel in the North Sea. So the Portuguese vessel Solong is drifting after colliding with the US tanker Stena Immaculate off of the east coast of Yorkshire on Monday. One crew member from the Solong is still missing and presumed dead after a search and rescue operation was concluded on Monday evening.
Is there an oil spill?
I believe so.
Oof.
Yeah. Homicide police, along with the Maritime and the Coast Guard Agency, have launched a criminal investigation into the cause of the collision. The Marine Accident Investigation Branch is also looking into the incident. Detective Chief Superintendent Craig Nicholson confirmed the arrest of the 59-year-old man on suspicion of gross negligence manslaughter, following the end of the search for the missing crew member. The Stena Immaculate tanker was struck while anchored off of the coast of Hull, causing explosions on board and the release of an unknown amount of Jet A1 fuel.
Do you know how peak that is in regards to boats? Do you know how all the logistics they have in their system that prevent
all that
collisions?
stuff.
So I definitely understand why he's
Why it's
getting,
manslaughter,
because he would have, that's gross negligence.
But yeah, man, the tanker carrying 220,000 barrels of jet fuel was part of the US government's tanker security system, and the ship had been waiting for a berth,
Are they going to wrap
at the
him up?
port. Yeah. But yeah, man, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this guy, in this article, it doesn't say, but I think this guy is Russian.
Okay, all right, that's Brent shit, but yeah,
No.
I get you.
Apparently, yeah. And the last headline, the number of ADHD prescriptions issued in England has increased by 18% year on year since the pandemic, with the biggest rise observed in London. Research from the University of Huddersfield and Aston University, published in the BMJ Mental Health, found that ADHD prescriptions rose from 25 per 1,000 people in 2019/20 to 41.5 per 1,000 last year. Methylphenidate remained the most frequently prescribed drug, and there was another drug, which I'm not going to pronounce. They saw the highest increase in prescriptions, rising to 55% year on year. Regional variations in prescription rates were noted, with London seeing a 28% rise, South East England seeing a 19.5% rise, and North East and Yorkshire at 13%. Ethnicity and deprivation was found to be factors influencing ADHD prescription rates, with regions with significant white populations showing higher prescription counts compared to the more ethnically diverse areas like the Midlands and London. What is happening? They need more black people.
So they're saying places with a high concentration of white people have more ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think there must be more to that study than just that.
There
must be more.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, they're just saying, so they're saying regions with significant white populations show higher prescription counts compared to the ethnically diverse areas.
Okay.
But then again, it could just mean that they're just not diagnosing correctly in the places where it's more ethnically diverse.
Yeah. All the food's better.
True indeed. Experts believe that the rise in prescriptions could be linked to increased public awareness, particularly through social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
Researchers emphasize the need for policies addressing regional and socioeconomic disparities in ADHD care, and also highlight the long waiting times for ADHD assessments as well.
Yes, that's true.
So there are calls for more research on the role of social media and spreading ADHD-related information, and also ensuring that awareness efforts don't contribute to the misinformation. And that's it for our headlines. Time to pay them bills. Brent, let's go into the reaction quick. All right, people, welcome to the reaction. There were some games yesterday, Champions League games. Lille lost at home to Borussia Dortmund 2-1, and I believe they've lost overall on aggregate now 3-2. Arsenal drew at home against PSV Eindhoven 2-2, so obviously they go through on aggregate. They won 9-3. Aston Villa beat Club Brugge 3-0, so on aggregate they win 6-1. And Atletico Madrid beat Real Madrid at home 1-0, but Real Madrid, they won overall because it was 2-2 on aggregate, so it went through to penalties, and Real Madrid won 4-2 on penalties. So, Brent, what do you think of Arsenal's performance? And am I right in saying you said before Arsenal's going to now play Real Madrid?
Yeah, now they're going to play Real Madrid, yeah.
They're going to be good?
The performance. It's right. Looking forward to Arsenal and Real Madrid now. Yeah.
What's that, quarterfinals?
I
think so, because this is round of 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After quarters and semis, then yes, it's the quarterfinals. If we win, then we will play the winner of Aston Villa and PSG. But we have to win first.
Yeah, 100%.
It's gonna be a
you
good
think it's
game.
possible?
It's gonna be a big game, and it will be the end of our campaign season if we don't win. So we ain't got nothing else to look forward to. But this season's already wrapped up in my head, so I'm looking forward to the game.
All right, cool.
Yeah, because it's the last thing we have to play for.
All right, on to some boxing news. Sonny Edwards, big up Sonny Edwards, man. You guys know we spoke about him a few times on the show. He's basically retired, as you guys know, but he's basically working as a commentator. He's always been a good commentator. Whenever he's like giving his opinion on boxing and things of that nature, he just breaks it down so nice. You know what I'm saying? So he's really good at being a pundit. But yeah, he's gonna be. It looks like he's now works as a commentator for DAZN. So he's enjoying himself there. He finds watching boxing reinforces his decision to retire, apparently, saying it looks hard and he doesn't miss all the physical demands of being a pro boxer. But again, he went to the top of the sport. He was a world champion. You know what I'm saying? So big up, Sonny, man. Next thing I wanted to mention is Keith Thurman. Now, Keith Thurman, obviously, for those who know him, looks like he was basically on his way out. Last fight, he was meant to fight Tim Tszyu. He was meant to fight a lot of different guys, just pulling out injuries and things of that nature. But long story short, he fought over the weekend. Was it over the weekend or during the week? Against Brock Jarvis in Australia. Knocked him out in 3 rounds. So it looks like, well, at least he was saying after he knocked him out, I'm back. So it looks like people are saying he is open to offers beyond fighting Tim Tszyu. So he was meant to fight Tim Tszyu. That's when he pulled out, got the injury. Tim Tszyu went on to fight Fundora, I believe. Fundora then beat Tim Tszyu. And kind of messed up Tim Tszyu's career, obviously, not because of anything besides him just losing. And he lost to Tim Tszyu. Sorry, he lost to Fundora, and he lost to another guy, I can't remember, in like the second round or something. Bad performance. But yeah, long story short, this is about Keith Thurman. Looks like he basically wants to actually be a proper competitor. He's currently fighting at 154. Obviously, he won the world championships at 147. But yeah, I don't know what he's going to do with his career, to be fair. It looks like he's definitely on the way out. But he did put in a good performance. But at the same time, who the hell is Brock Jarvis? No disrespect to him. Who is he? You know what I'm saying? Next thing I wanted to mention is the former featherweight world champion, Mauricio Lara. For those who know about him and, you care about the, lack of a better term, the smaller guys in boxing. He, for example, he was a prolific champion, and he received 2 years. He's received a 2-year ban from the UK anti-doping for a positive test of betamethasone. The positive test occurred after his May 28th win fight against Lee Wood, with Lara claiming that the substance was from a previous shoulder injection. So this is what he's saying. UCAD, which is the UK anti-doping, they basically refute his explanation. You know what I'm saying? They're saying that the substance in his system was different and he couldn't provide a proper explanation for why he had this PED in his system. And now Lara's ban has basically been backdated to March of 8th, 2024. And so it's going to be concluded next year, March 6th, 2026. He's 27 years old, so he's still got time to come back and do something. But yeah, the ban also means he's been stripped of his WBA title for in fact, the fight against Lee Wood wasn't even for the title, I believe, because he was stripped of it because he didn't even make weight for the rematch against Lee Wood. But yeah, that's basically what's happening with him. But yeah, there isn't much else, to be fair. That's it for the reaction. Let's go into the wrap up.
Who did you tell me was going to win between Conor and Ben?
Oh, I was saying...
Am I saying right? Conor and Ben?
No, I knew what you meant. Conor Eubank.
Yeah, Conor
Ben and Eubank.
Yeah.
It's a tough one, man. It really is. But a part of me just feels like Conor's going to win, He just seems too angry and too aggressive and too, you know what I mean? But on paper, Eubank should handle this. He should handle it. But there are disadvantages against Eubank. Eubank is coming down in weight. He's got the rehydration clause as well. So it's just a lot of things that kind of favour Conor Ben. You know what I'm saying? He's been fighting, last few fights, 2 or 3 fights, been at 154 as well. So he's not jumping from 147 to 160 like people are saying. He's jumping from 154 to 160. So basically, normal. It's okay for him. Eubank though, that guy has struggled to make 160 for years now. You know what I'm saying? He fights at 168 pretty much. So I don't know. So it's plus the rehydration cause as well. Long story short, I would say Conor Benn. I think Conor Benn's gonna win it. But I do want Eubank to win because I'm Team Eubank, man. You know what I'm saying? I've always been a Eubank fan over Nigel Benn, to be fair. Big up Nigel Benn, though. Legend. One of the greatest boxers in British history. But I've always been Team Eubank. So I would love for Chris to win, but I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah.
All right, then.
Wrap up.
Thank you. Let's get to the wrap up. Obviously, when Marks returns, we can talk about United's new stadium and that.
New stadium?
Yeah, they proposed a new stadium.
Okay.
It looks glorious. 100,000 seater.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So, thank you guys for tuning into the show. It's been a great show. Thank you for Ramsey for tuning in. For jumping in. You know what I'm saying? Rolling up.
Thank you, guys.
You know what I'm saying? Thank you to everyone that called up. Welcome, Timmy, Christy, Ed. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Thank everyone that commented. Big
And
up
No
you
Name
guys.
as well.
Huh?
No Name.
Big up No Name.
Welcome, yes.
Oh.
Big up, welcome.
This guy. All right. So today we spoke about Ukraine and how they're ready to accept the 30-day ceasefire with Russia. We also spoke about the unfortunate surge in stab victims, man. That's happened, especially in South London, I guess, because that's where St. George's Hospital is. And now they've introduced a knife amnesty, which is good. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because they've been treating over 500 victims of knife-related injuries last year. So this is their own thing that they're putting forward with another charity. We also spoke about the U.S. Education Department's plans to cut half of its workforce. We spoke about the unfortunate death of a woman who was killed. Well, at least they're charging a 13-year-old girl for her murder. We also spoke about another horrible, disgusting murder, triple killer Kyle Clifford, the animal who's basically handed a whole life order for rape and murder of his ex-partner, killing her mother and also her sister. And we also spoke about Trump and him basically, it looks like he sent someone over there to try and sort out a deal with Congo, right? So I'm pretty sure there's something that we're going to be speaking about in the near future. And basically, it looks like they're trying to strike a deal which involved all the critical minerals, the gold, the cobalt, the things that everyone desires in the world, right? In exchange for security guarantees. So this will basically stop the instability in the country, potentially, but this will give America access. So the same old stuff where the West tries to, you know what I mean, exploit.
Capitalism and that.
You know what I'm saying? Exploit black people, right? And Africa. And we also spoke about Labour MPs basically making their concerns known to the PM and the Chancellor that they're not happy with these talks about benefit cuts. You know what I'm saying? And also we spoke about ADHD prescriptions in England having risen by 18%. And for our topic of the day, we spoke about whether it's dangerous or not to tell our kids if hard work alone, right, leads to success when it doesn't. Should we change up how we tell them this information? Should we tweak it or should we just leave it out or whatever it may be? You know what I'm saying? That was a good conversation. Big everyone for calling and chiming in. And yeah, it's been a good show, man. Guys, like the video, share, comment, please. We're on the road to 10K. We're on the road to 10K.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? And
at the end of the year.
100%. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Brent, Ramsey, anything to add?
No, I don't think so.
Beautiful. Tomorrow we'll be here, 8 a.m. Peace.
Love.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Later.